All right, welcome back to the party, everybody. I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. How's everybody doing tonight? So I was planning on doing something a little bit different, and I'm not fully quite set up yet. But I did want to talk about this rising sentiment, I guess you could say, of people specifically on the right, saying that women should not be allowed in politics. Women shouldn't be, and going so far as to repeal the 19th. Say that a woman shouldn't even be allowed to vote. And so I wanted to check out some stuff and see where that's coming from. What do we really think of that? And is there something deeper going on? So let me know who is in the building. Give me a second here. I was not prepared to do this stream, but we will make it work. All right. Okay. And then already here, videos to react to. That's what we're looking for. Hey, shout out to Melted Mind Media. Welcome to the party. Pearly things? What does that mean? What you talking about, Willis? Of course, this, it's just a funny little thing about people. Funny little thing about people. Where was it? God damn. I had it. Did I not? Oh, it was this one. Okay, so we'll do this one first. Just get everything set up.
Welcome back to the comment section. I'm Brett Cooper.
All right, hold on. We gonna get this. Yeah, I just it's been weird to see that I'm getting people saying that I'm woke or blue-pilled or whatever because I'm not on board with just taking women's right to vote away. What the hell was I doing here? I forget what I'm trying to do. What are we trying to do? Oh yeah, okay. All right, and we got that. Boom. Okay, so firstly, I just thought the idea in and of itself is silly because we see plenty of liberal and blue-pilled men, and nobody's talking about taking the right to vote or be in politics away from men. And we also see plenty of based chicks, and they just seem to get ignored. So I'd actually been thinking about this for a while. So we'll use her saying this type of stuff. Gotcha. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think she'll just say whatever will get her attention is what she will say. I don't think she actually had women do this and women do that, but yeah, you're absolutely right, Melty. You're starting to see a lot more people, use that as a legitimate line of thinking. And you'll often see, let's see if we can pull up the recent polling of, let's just see the percentages of women are percentage of women voting for either party. So it's usually like 30 or like 60%. Why is this so gigantic? Oh yeah, because I'm on this thing. Voter registration by women. So you can see, I mean, this one's not, but whatever. There was one on, hey, we got Harley Rose in the building. Welcome to the party. There was a poll that they showed on I think it was like CNN or MSNBC or whatever it was, where it was saying like 60% of women are voting blue, while only 30% of men are voting blue. And that's what I think is really behind this whole thing of women not, or men wanting to, particularly men on the right, wanting to get women out of politics entirely. And not only do I disagree with that, but I think it's just strategically a really bad move. Like, obviously, that's half the voting block. So even if you were to get that up the chain and you're to get a candidate that's going to say, half of you, screw off. Like, that's not going to go very well. But also, it's the notion that the politics itself shouldn't be done. The conversations shouldn't be had, as if people like myself weren't blue-pilled, a decade ago or whatever. And it wasn't because of my gender or anything like that. It was because I wasn't paying attention, or I wasn't paying attention to the right things. And so this is what kind of kicked off the whole conversation for me here. Let's dive into this and see what we got.
Welcome back to the comment section. I'm Brett Cooper. So it has become very common to just dunk on women, especially coming from the political right. And to be honest, there is a lot to own them on. You know, feminism and hookup culture, the way they vote, you name it. There's a problem with women. People are going to talk about it. But it's not all women. And it's wrong to assume that it is. And you also don't win by straight up attacking half of the population. You win by amplifying and supporting positivity and showing caution.
Right. So Harley said, is it an issue with women voting or women in leadership roles? I don't think it's either. I think it's the fact that we are seeing, it's the ideology. It's not about women. It's about liberal thinking. It just so happens at this. I got an echo. Okay, thank you. Let's get some headphones up in this. An echo from what? From myself? That's weird. Hold on. I got you. I need to hear myself. Oh, from the video. I'm like, an echo from what? Stupid. Yeah, the idea is that it would be. Do I want to do this one or this one? Let's do that one. Yeah, that gender has anything to do with it at all. The messaging from the Democrats and the left side has been very gynocentric for sure, but and that is why you'll see a lot of women voting in that direction. But that just means that we have to change the messaging. That's all that means. That doesn't mean women are incapable of having good ideas. They're just not voting for them right now.
Tales with empathy. And today we have some awesome wins to amplify because all over my social media, I see women waking up. But before we dive into this, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the comment section channel if you have not already, and then ring that notification bell so that you never miss one of our episodes. All right, so I have a ton of videos here, so you just need to bear with me for a bit because I just want you to see what I'm seeing on my social media. So this first one is a young woman on TikTok telling her 200,000 plus followers why she left the left. Just watch.
People always ask me, hey, Chelly, what made you walk away from the Democratic Party / liberalism? It was a process. It started when I first started paying taxes.
Imagine that. You grew up, you get a job.
That's the first step. The first step to, like they say, if you're not a liberal when you're young, you have no heart. And if you don't get more conservative as you get older, you got no brain. And that's usually the first thing, is that when you first start paying taxes, you're like, wait a minute. When you're not paying taxes, when you don't have a job, when you're just thinking about stuff in the abstract, it's like, yeah, we should just, there's homeless people and there's homes. We should just put them together. There's poor people and there's money. There's rich people and let's just make it. Sounds nice, but obviously it does not work that way.
It started when I first started paying taxes.
Imagine that. You grow up, you get a job, you become an adult, and you realize they're taking all of your money. And you're poor because of the government. Not because of anything you're doing. I mean, sometimes it is because of the things you're doing, but a lot of the time it's because of the government.
And then my hate for Democrats got a lot worse when I started looking into government spending and I realized how they spent our money. For example, did you know that over the last 5 years, California has spent over $20 billion on the homeless crisis? Now, if you live in LA, you're
$20 billion on the housing crisis, or the homeless crisis, excuse me. And I don't know if you are familiar with what's going on with the homeless in California, but it's not good. So where's that money going?
that over the last 5 years, California has spent over $20 billion on the homeless crisis. Now, if you live in LA, you're wondering, hey, where did that money go? Because it's only gotten worse. They can't tell you how those $20 billion were spent. They don't.
Let me know if you're still getting the echo, because my headphones are giving me trouble. I'll figure it out if we need, but.
Because it's only gotten worse. They can't tell you how those $20 billion were spent. They don't know where they went. They can't even tell you if those $20 billion were effective.
That's because it went to executive salaries, because it was funneled into nonprofits with executives that make hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it went to paying them, not actually fixing the problem. And that's basically the government in a nutshell.
Incapable.
Yeah, that's the government in a nutshell. Shout out to JR. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Good to see ya. Good to see ya. Talking about women in politics. Should they be allowed?
To paying them, not actually fixing the problem. And that's basically the government in a nutshell.
They're incapable of balancing a budget. Instead of reining in their spending, do you know what they're doing? They're increasing taxes on the average American, meaning that more of the hours you work aren't going to be for you or your family, they're going to be for someone else. And you know who's getting screwed the most? Middle-class, hard-working Americans.
Correct.
And that's the tip of the iceberg. That's just a financial side. And it does get worse. When it comes to what Democrats, how they're trying to groom children in schools, it's disturbing.
Spitting facts. I mean, this is like common sense.
Right. And so it's not that women are incapable of understanding these things. It's just that the messaging has been so heavily against the right, against Trump, against, being anti-LGBTQ, whatever. It's the messaging. It's not that women are incapable of these thoughts, guys. I don't know if you know that, but we're seeing it right here.
Should be common sense, and yet this is some radical radical walking away from the Democrat Party, because that is how extreme so many of them have become.
Absolutely no reason that the government and the school system should be transitioning a young minor, encouraging them to get surgeries, encouraging to get medical treatments that they can't take back without the consent or knowledge from the parents. Actually, they help hide this from the parents.
And that's the most horrifying part. And this doesn't just happen in the gender ideology, sexuality space. Like, schools are medicating kids for mental illnesses and ADHD without telling parents.
Without telling parents. That was something I had just learned. That is something I had just learned, that it's not just the trans stuff, that in general, that's opened the door to now kids be getting, like you said, ADHD medicine, anxiety, all that stuff without the parents' consent. It's almost like this was the entire thing that we were talking about, and it just so happened to be about trans stuff. Shout out to Bandana Dan. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. I agree. AOC might be incapable of common sense, although we do have to give her credit. Long before it was acceptable, she was long before the leaked video of Nancy Pelosi taking credit for January 6th. AOC was out there being like, "Yo, where was the Capitol Police?" But exactly, AOC is a stupid person who happens to be a woman. AOC is a stupid person who happens to be a woman. If we are not able to separate the fact that, oh, this is a stupid person who happens to be a woman, and, oh, women, they're all bad, then you are going to lose. You are going to lose, because almost half of the people that vote, are women. Welcome to the party, Bandana Dan. Don't mind me jumping around here. I got to find this vape or I'm going to lose it.
And they think that's okay. They've just gotten so comfortable with subverting parental authority. And that's being driven by one political party. I mean, she did not have a single miss in that video. 2 minutes of straight facts. And she is not alone. That is the point that I want to drive home today. She's not alone. And not every video will be as direct or straightforward or hard-hitting as hers, but they are making their voices heard. Just look at this.
And the other aspect to this is that, the messaging of not even politics itself, but getting into politics. Women don't typically just happen upon politics that often. No, I'm not. Of course, we're just saying on the whole. Typically, women just don't care. They have other things that they're into, and so making politics in and of itself something more inviting to women will be able to or allow us to get in there and be like, hey, I know you think this thing, but you're wrong. And I can tell it to you in a way that you don't think I'm being misogynist or mansplaining or da-da-da-da-da-da. Hardy said, oh yeah, it used to be if you got consoling about something in or out of the school, the parents or guardians were told everything. Now they are told nothing. To be fair, though, that can be good or bad. So I understand. I mean, I think if what you're saying is that, like, there could be situations where there is something where it's best that like, let's say the parent is beating the kid or something, and then they have to do something, whatever. I get that, but we have to talk about things on the balance of probabilities and say that if that is the case, then we can go above and beyond to make sure that even though we have to tell the parents that there's a police officer going home with whatever I don't have the answer off the top of my head. But the idea that we just by default don't tell the parents, that cannot be a good thing. Shout out to Mike Friedman in the building. Welcome to the party. Said, I am a stupid person moron. A person moron? Or a puppy moron? Or a kitty moron? I don't know. Goes on to say, you stupid Trump-tards don't like non-racist opposition. What? What is non-racist opposition to what? About what? What are we talking about? We got a college-educated genius. Interesting. As I said, it's not just about being a woman. It has nothing to do with whether you are a man or a woman, unless this is a chick with unless this is a Euro trip scenario. We got Mika up here, then we got a live one. We got a live one.
Or straightforward or hard hitting as hers, but they are making their voices heard. Just look at this.
Growing up is realizing that Donald Trump, you might not agree with the man socially or morally. However, that motherfucker got it on lock when it comes to the economy. Listen. Don't cancel me. Don't shoot the messenger. Sexy Red said it, so I'm gonna say it too.
And what she said on the video is Republican.
What did she just say? What did she just say? Sexy Red said it. Sexy Red said it. This is what your average woman is paying attention to. You have to get the message, again, the messaging. What do people care about? And you meet them where they're at. This is why on this channel I'm not, diving into the depths, and I made this mistake. Try diving into the depths of philosophy and religion and this and that and I wasn't meeting people where they're at. And so now we're doing, our crash course philosophy thing. And it's about, again, meeting people where they're at.
We don't shoot the messenger. Sexy Red said it, so I'm gonna say it too.
And what she said on the video is Republican is the new spring trend, just saying. And then she's like, I'm sorry, but I need a job. Yeah. And she's not wrong. If you want to be a thriving adult in society right now, we need a better economy. And Joe Biden is not giving us that.
And so, yeah, let's just go with what we got right in front of us. Right in front of us. Dan said, I want Mike to share more. So do I. I've heard as has been, nothing I've heard has been even close to controversial. TDS is rampant. And again, this is underlying the point exactly that if it was just a woman thing, then, we would be, you're free to ban him or whatever. I don't care. Or if you don't care, I don't care. I'm just saying. It's not as simple as man smart. Good one. Mike said, Harley, Rose, get a brain. She said, can I have yours? Harley, I don't know if that's a good trade-off. I would rather, if I could choose one person in this chat, or rather one person between Mike and Harley to be able to vote. Actually, let's make that a poll. Just based on what we know here. I've never seen Mike before. I have no idea who this person is. So if only one could vote, who would you want to? Mike or Harley? Well, let's just see. Just based on what we've seen already today. All right. A shout out to Stephanie. Welcome to the party. Projection. We got Trey in the building. Welcome to the party. Said, bring Trump back so I can keep my black job. There we go. Shout out to Rowdy Ruff. Welcome to the party. So I'm gonna die happy knowing I didn't need much with all this crazy going on. We definitely live in interesting times. It is interesting times for sure. We also got David Banner in the building. Welcome to the party, brother. Good to see you. And so we're just talking about, should women be allowed in politics? Should they be allowed to vote? Should they be allowed to be in positions of power? What do y'all feel about that. And if you could do me a huge favor, guys, and hit the 3 dots right here and just hit that like button, it helps out so very much. Thank you.
Another one.
My biggest issue with liberals is that they literally hate our country. They hate the country that they live in. And it never made any sense to me. Like, if you don't like it here that much, pack a bag and leave.
They'll always threaten that, but they'll never do it. I'm going to leave if Trump gets elected. I'm going to leave this time. I'm really going to leave.
Are you though? Shout out to Darian in Discord. He was just sharing an article about like, oh, the threats to leave the country are always around with elections. Are people serious this time? No, ain't nobody leaving because this, that, whatever. Nobody's leaving. Oh, if Trump gets elected, I'm leaving. No, you're not. Shout out to King Nirvana in the building. Welcome to the party. Good to see you. Guys, again, if I could just implore you to please hit that like button, it would make me so very, very, very happy. Thank you. All right, so listen, we need at least one troll as a pet in here. Yep, Mike, you're doing your damn thing. Bandana Dan says, Stephanie, we can't be doing that. Come on, man. Obviously, they should be allowed, but nothing should be prioritized over merit ever. I completely agree with that. Merit. Are you good enough? Did you earn this? Good enough for me.
In 2024, if he gets elected, no, you're not. Because deep down, you know that we've got it good. Deep down, you know that this still is the most free place on earth. You don't actually want to leave. You just like being angry and making yourself out to be a victim.
These liberals see the state of our country and they still think that he is doing a good job and they're going to go vote for him again.
Again, straight facts. Here's another.
The fake news said my personality would get us into a war. I'm telling you, my personality.
It said it's not cute or trendy to hate on Trump anymore. Don't be foolish and vote Trump 2024. So, I mean, again, and what does the poll say? Oh, a bunch more people came in, but even still, Harley wins. I mean, come on. Rowdy Ruff said, for me, the person in power should be the best option. It doesn't matter which sex or skin color. We're all human, whether we're good or bad. Yes. And this was the rallying cry of the Democrats for so long, was that, the world is racist and da. But now it's people on the left who are so easily putting everybody in a box and saying, oh, you're this, you're that. It's silly. And again, it's definitely the right who is picking on women at the moment. But my whole point there is, why are we acting like them? I don't want to be like that. I said, I do think women should be allowed to vote. They pay taxes. Yeah, absolutely. They pay taxes. They the only reason that you have is that you don't like that they vote that way. They happen to vote this way, and therefore they shouldn't be allowed to vote. That's un-American. You're an authoritarian. You're a fascist. Shout out to Lil Toes. Welcome to the party. Says no. Women shouldn't even be allowed to wear pants. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Stephanie, again, if you're going to be deleting stuff, we're going to have to time you out and ban you and stuff. You can type whatever you want, but don't be deleting stuff. Thank you. All right, diving back in here.
My personality would get us into a war. I'm telling you, my personality is what kept us out of war.
There's not a single Trump hype edit that I will scroll past. I will say, and I will watch every single one of them. It gets me so fired up, just like this girl is saying. On her video, she said, it's not cute or trendy to hate on Trump anymore. Don't be foolish and vote Trump 2024. And
the funniest thing is that people like Mike will get so mad that we are like, oh yeah, we see Trump in it. That hypes me up. I'm like, oh my God, but he's the worst and he's a racist and he hates women and he does this. King Nirvana said people should be allowed to vote too. Yeah, imagine that.
So important to note, guys, these are not political accounts. These are not girls that have MAGA.
Hey, shout out to Brad C over on X. Welcome to the party. So I can think of a few countries people can move to if they don't want women to vote. Agreed. But the problem is, it's people on our side. So we have to be the ones who are calling it out because, exactly. Like, what if somebody like Mike was here and I was on that side of saying women shouldn't be allowed to vote? Then oh my god, even these streamers, and oh my god, he's not even a buff dude, he's not even white, and still he's just going on the, you know what I mean? And so the notion that messages matter and perception is reality. It can't be the message that, oh, women are too dumb to vote. That is such a lowbrow take on anything. To just say, oh, it's all men or it's all women. We know that. But somehow you see one statistic or it's not even a statistic, one chart or one survey that says twice as many women vote blue as men, still saying that like 30% of men, 30+% of men will vote blue. And your solution is take away the women's vote. Come on, man. So can we ban Stephanie out? And again, it's up to you if you want to whatever you want to do with Mike. Shout out to Balance Shades in the building. Welcome to the party. Biden is totally not racist at all, and Trump is the most racist person ever. That's how it works. Welcome, Balance. David said, is it gay to find Brett Cooper hot considering she looks exactly like Ben? No, it is not gay at all.
In their bio, or right-wing political commentator, or my takes on culture. These are just random, normal girls, some with followings, some with not. They're just normal women getting online and sharing their thoughts. It genuinely feels like the fog has been lifted, kind of like how I on TikTok. And the response on every single one of those videos that we just watched has been overwhelmingly positive. The way I'm voting is based off of what I've seen happen under both of them. Comparing my quality of living under each is how I'll determine my vote. Great way to do it. And I think we all know which way that vote will go.
Yup. Shout out to Carl Johansson. Welcome to the party. Said not dumb, generally more emotional, unstable, and manipulable. True. But this is America. And if you are an American citizen and you are paying your taxes, then you get to be part of the discussion. If we have a reason to change that, I'm down. I think it was the right option to it's the 19th Amendment, right? To give women the right to vote. I think that was the right option. Does that mean that there's more work to be done in terms of making sure that women vote in the way that I want them to vote? Yeah. But I'm not just going to try to take the vote away from people just because they think differently than me. I know that I have better ideas than they do. It's just that I know that I'm more convincing than they are. 90% of women. You put me and a woman, 90% of people, and good percentage of dudes, we get into a political debate, and I could definitely at least get you to understand my side, something you didn't understand before. It's so simplistic to just make it about men and women. Mike says, nobody cares how any of you Trump turds vote Trump ain't getting back in that White House. Oh, somebody screenshot this. Oh my goodness. I cannot wait till the 5th, or excuse me, the 20th to post that. Oh, that is beautiful. Actually, we don't even need it there. I'll put it right in the free chat so everybody can see. Oh, that's going to be beautiful. That is going to be beautiful. Dan, so I just asked ChatGPT for Biden's, quote, racial jungle, quote, and the first time ever a, quote, violation of terms of service popped up. Joe Biden is too racist for ChatGPT. PT, not BT, but gotcha. King said, let Brett Cooper vote if you know what I mean. There you go. I'm dumb. I shouldn't vote. No, hey, if you don't think you're smart enough to make the right decision, then please, by all means, I am happy for you to choose not to vote. But Yeah, no. Nope, this is Batman Orange because Orange Man, and then right to the name calling. So again, typically on this channel, I like to say we attack ideas, not people. But as Mike has crossed that threshold, and we do have Harley here to be a moderator, y'all do what you gonna do. That doesn't mean that I won't decide to ban you, but probably not. So your fate is, your fate is in Carly. Jesus Christ, I cannot talk. Your fate is in Harley's hands. That's what I meant to say. Carl said, if women want to vote for Trump, I will take it. Same with the gays. I am never going to acknowledge it as a good thing. Why is that not a good thing? That doesn't make sense to me. You realize I'm on camera and I can already see behind me, and there's a wall there. Smart one you are. See, Harley, I'm not sure you'd want to trade that brain. Trey said both sides are hypocrites and cry when their side loses. The right hates gays and women until they say something they agree with. The left does the same thing. Love them till they say something wrong. So, I mean, I definitely, absolutely, there are hypocrites on both sides. But I would definitely say that the hate gays and hates women, that is not a very common thing. That is not a very common thing. It definitely exists. But if we're to look at look at the two sides and say, okay, wokeness versus racism and sexism and transphobia and all that stuff, wokeness is going to be up here, and all that kind of bigotry is going to be here. Now, you want to turn the clock back 20, 50, 70 years, we are having a completely different conversation. I completely understand that. But this whole thing, I mean, even the people who are think like the hardcore Christian people who are say that being gay is an abomination and that they shouldn't even be alive. I think that's very few and far between. I think most people who are not in favor of gayness or whatever are just like, you know what, keep it away from me, and definitely keep it away from the kids. Yeah, very, 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 very sad. Very, very sad. And I think it's about being in these echo chambers. And that's why if we can talk to each other, and instead of, imagine if Mike came in here and acted like an adult. Imagine if Mike came in here and acted like a reasonable person. I very likely would have invited him to come up, have a conversation, tell me why Trump is so bad and this, that, and that. But obviously, this is not a serious person. We can be serious and get shit done. Guys, again, if you do me a huge favor, the 3 dots right here, right over here in the top corner, if you could just hit that and hit the like button, it helps so very, very much. Thank you so much. Carl, so we should take their votes and do nothing to cater to them. It's not hate, it's discernment. Okay, and so on what basis? On what basis are we taking away votes and doing and what are what is catering to them in this definition? What are we talking about? Ratty Ralph said, my friends are degenerates. They're also some of the nicest people I know. Yeah, I've been there. I've been down in the dumps. You know what I mean? And some people are, could be, it doesn't matter where, all different walks of life. You can't judge people just based on basic shit like that. Do you really need to ask? Obviously. He's voting for that old sack of bones and nothing much else. Dan said, fun fact, if you hold your finger on the screen, the 3 dots menu pop up. Thank you so much, Dan. So yeah, if you could just give me a press just like that and hit that like button, it would be amazing. Thank you.
Each is how I'll determine my vote. Great way to do it. And I think we all know which way that vote will go, because I think we're all living in this economy. Another girl said this. Another one said yes. Another girl said, say it louder for the people in the back. Another girl said, these are facts. That man can call me whatever he wants. Don't care. He isn't sitting at my dinner table as long as I can live comfortably. Another girl said absolute facts. So it's not even men in the comment section being like, yes.
These are all women saying based. Yes, I love it. All of this, all of that. So even though there might be a plurality of women who are liberal or just not paying attention, to make it about men versus women is not only wrong, it's stupid, because you will lose. You can have ideas that if you can be a legitimate misogynist if you want to do that. You can be that person if you want to be it. But you shooting yourself in the foot by pushing that idea out there as if other people should also be misogynistic, to think that that's going to be politically advantageous is stupid. It's dumb. So I said I only disagree because most of them automatically assume they want to mess with the kids. And while I do agree with a lot of keep the kids out of it, I'm also indifferent. Well, and I mean, I think we can agree there in the sense that I see where you're coming from. That there is people can be too quick to jump to you're gay or you're ill in the LGBT community, and then the kids. I understand that can be a connection that people make too easily, but the fact is that didn't come out of nowhere. That didn't come out of nowhere. We've seen plenty of times, plenty. Oh, you know what? I just found it. So give me a second here. I'll pop this in. I just found they finally got to the Senate. Our favorite books, which genderqueer and not all boys are blue. I just saw this TikTok recently. And here, I'll put this other one on while we are setting that up. But I'm going to come back to that because, so what does he say? Trey said, because for some kids, they live with gays and trans. My son being, and we had to have, for some kids, they live with gays. I don't know what that says, man. While I'm setting this back up, I'll dive into this here. So we'll put a pin in the hate for gays, and we'll put a pin in the hate for gays, right?
Can live comfortably. Another girl said absolute facts. So it's not even men in the comment section being like, yes, I love seeing a conservative girl or a girl with common sense. It's other women hyping these girls up on social media. And on top of this, it's not even just normal girls with no followings. Like even big pop culture internet celebrities are comfortable toying with the idea of supporting him, which, guys, 8 years ago was outlawed. I mean, just listen to what this ex-Barstool podcaster had to say. This is Alex Bennett.
I was mad at Donald Trump for a very long time. I just watched the Jake Paul trailer interview. I don't know. Is there something refreshing about the guy?
Yes.
Is that because I'm comparing him to Joe? Yeah. Like, I'm still mad at him. I don't want to say I miss him, but do I miss him? I don't miss him, but do I like watching his content? Why is the president making content?
Hold on. Sorry, just plugging everything in. I'm gonna get that fixed in a second. Let's grab some of these here. Yep. Of course. Carl said, misogyny is like racism. Just a cudgel used against people with views the elites dislike. You just hate women is just a feminist leftist response. Well, sure, but if somebody legitimately hates women, then like, are you saying that racism and misogyny don't exist at all? Because I would disagree with that. I definitely think both are way overplayed. But unless you're saying that they don't exist at all, then I would disagree with that. Shout out to Alex Pickus in the building. Welcome to the party. Good to see you. All right, let me just get this switched up in the right direction. Where is it? Landscape portrait. What? Nope. Portrait flipped. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. So then we stop sharing that. And then we share this. Okay. And then very rarely what? Does it exist or does it not exist? So if you're saying it exists, than to say that you know that it is merely a response, then that's not the case. Right?
Nation. So I'm glad we're nation.
See that?
So I'm glad we're having this hearing today. I hope that we will have more like it to expose the censorship happening at the highest levels of our government. Mr. Chairman, I'd ask that this opinion, this judgment by the Fifth Circuit, Missouri versus Biden, be entered into the record in full.
Without objection.
I will leave it there. I know there are other Senator Kennedys here who want to ask questions, but I just want to say for the record that this kind of censorship is un-American, it is unconstitutional, and I hope it will go down as a sad chapter in American history that we can close here and now. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Hawley. Senator Kennedy.
Shout out to Senator Kennedy.
Mr. Chairman.
So this is, in case you somehow have missed the degree to which the trans community activists, not anybody who's trans specifically, but the activists are pushing this type of stuff on children. It's insane. And so we have our whole list of books, the Gay BCs, Genderqueer. This book is gay. Not all boys are blue. The Bluest Eye. Nick and Andrew. All these different books that are extremely, extremely graphic. And the whole idea of book burning and, oh my God, Ron DeSantis in Florida is the worst person ever because he wants to ban books and burn books and everything. This is the book that they're talking about. There's two. These are the books that they're talking about.
I confess I'm a little confused, and I appreciate the argument that or discussion that we've been having, but for me, it's a little too conceptual, or I don't know, metaphysical or theological or whatever you want to call it. I want to try to understand what you're asking us to do. Let's take two books that have been much discussed.
Right, for that, I'm getting behind in the comments here. Let's grab some of these. Trey said, well, with my son living with a trans aunt, we really had a conversation with him at an early age because he was starting to notice similarities with me and his aunt. So when he was 9, he finally told him. I'm confused as to how this connects to Republicans or conservatives, whatever you want to say, being like bad or bigoted towards this. I'm confused the connection that you're making to your own son. If you could clear that up for me. All right, sorry about that. Harley said I'm not a Trump supporter. How dare you? Or a Biden supporter. Matter of fact, I don't support democracy or republic. I support dictators that gain power through backstabbing and wealth. We got a real one. We got a real one in the building. Carl said they lie about racism and sexism so much, the claims should be disregarded entirely. So now you're hitting on now you're hitting on the problem. Because what is Trey saying? It is still around. And so when you say things like, oh, it's just an excuse, and you brush every example off of the table, you throw the baby out with the bathwater. The problem is that the culture, again, I would argue from the Democratic side, but definitely bolstered by both sides. The fact that hating the other side is beneficial to the uniparty. They want you to think that every example of this thing that they say is not happening, so that they can say, oh, this is happening all over the place, and they're just saying it's not existing, and to the point where we're living in two different worlds. So I get where you're coming from on saying that it's overused, but the problem is that it's overused, not the fact that there is such a word as racism or there is such a word as misogyny or misandry for that matter. Those are real things. The problem might be with the overusage of the words, but that's a different thing than saying racism doesn't exist. The whole BS Trump agenda ain't going to work. Why is that? Too bad you couldn't have had a Discord moment 48 minutes ago. Brown eye for the queer guy. I like that. I like that. Shout out to It Really Hurts. I'm sorry that it hurts. Welcome to the party. Said Jesus is waiting for you to get off your phone and go do something to help society, bro. Sitting there ranting about politics when most people just live their lives working. Politics isn't a factor. Can we get a dilly double projection? Super happy. Projection. So you're the one that's watching something probably on your phone and not doing anything. I'm the one building a platform to have political, have political gain and cultural gain. So try that one again. And Dana Dan. So also remember that hateful people use racial language like that. Exactly. That's another good point as well to counterbalance that the fact that we know that these types of words are going to be more offensive to this type of person. It may not necessarily be a racist person. It may just be somebody using racial language because they know it's hateful. That's still a hateful person. But I think it's important to understand when people are using race in a hateful way versus racism. They're both bad, but they're different. You know? Rowdy, so this is my nap time. I was wasting it here, and then I go back out and do other things. There you go. There you go. Right. So these are books that were found in schools.
The first one is called All Boys Aren't Blue. And I will quote from it. I put some lube on and got him on his knees, and I began to slide into him from behind. I pulled out of him and kissed him while he masturbated.
This isn't a
He
children's
asked me to turn over while he slipped a condom on himself. This was my ass, and I was struggling to imagine someone inside me. He got on top and slowly inserted himself into me. It was the worst pain I think I have ever felt in my life. Eventually, I felt a mix of pleasure with the pain.
So, the reason I'm showing this is when you say, oh, well, you know, people assume that anybody who's in the trans community or is gay is automatically trying to get at the kids or whatever. And I understand that that is not the case. I understand that it's not fair. But the fact is, when there's so many people within and without of the community that will hear this stuff and not only cheer for it, but then call you a bigot when you want to get rid of it. And so I agree with you that it's not fair for people to just automatically be considered a danger to children because they're in the LGBT whatever. I completely agree with that. But the fact is, there is a valid reason that people think this way. And they are wrong. But this is a valid reason.
Close quote. All boys aren't blue. The second is another much discussed book. I'm sure you're familiar with it. It's called Genderqueer.
Mm-hmm.
Let me read an excerpt from that. Quote, I got a new strap-on harness today.
Oh, sorry.
I can't wait to put it on you. It will fit my favorite dildo perfectly. You're going to look so hot. I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me. End quote.
In our schools, for children to just take out, and genderqueer specifically, the one that we just heard, was on a display with other books of that type. Carl said, if someone is a normal gay, I won't know that they are gay, or it will be so low key, I won't care. That is not the norm now among gay people. Okay, again. But then the issue is, so I don't even, okay. I see what you're saying. But again, this isn't an issue of whether or not you are gay. It's the behavior. So as you said, you can be a normal gay. So it's not about being gay or not being gay, just as much as voting isn't about being a woman or not a woman. That's the point we're saying here. Jay said, well, I bring it up because a lot of kids have people that live LGBT lifestyles, and kids end up trying to figure out about that lifestyle. So there's some conversations that need to be had with young kids. So right, but the type of conversations that were being pushed out there before, regular people who are not part of the LGBT community, exactly. It's not, the rhetoric, or excuse me, the curriculum and the way that this was meant to be discussed was always in this manner. It was always in this manner. There was never a time when we were like, or not we, but the trans activists were like, okay, we want to make sure that everybody has this, that, whatever. So we're going to make sure that we do this in a proper way that doesn't involve, sucking this or butt sex and all that stuff. So Rowdy said, I think Carl means Carl means most gays aren't as obnoxious as the ones forcing themselves into the spotlight. I completely agree. But that has a lot to that has a lot to do with, again, the perceptions that people have of the LGBT community in general. And that's why a lot of gay people are like separate the T from the LGBT. They don't like it. They don't like it at all. All right, so let's go back. Is this done? Let's see what else we got for this dog.
Now, Mr. Secretary, what are you asking us to do? Are you suggesting that only librarians should decide whether the 2 books that I just referenced should be available to kids? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay. Tell me what you're saying.
Well, first of all, there's this...
Don't give me a speech. Tell me what you're asking me to do.
With all due respect, Senator, the words you spoke are disturbing, especially coming out of your mouth is very disturbing. But I would also tell you that we're not advocating for kids to read porn, to Senator Booker's point.
What are you advocating for?
We are advocating for parents, random parents, not to have the ability, under the guise of keeping kids safe, to try and challenge the world view of every single manner on these issues.
You're getting conceptual game.
I'm not getting conceptual. I'm
yes, you are. Yes, you are. Because I want to know what you're recommending. It sounds to me like what some of you are saying, the librarians should decide who gets to see that book.
I'm saying when individual parents are allowed to make a decision of where that line is, and To Kill a Mockingbird, which involves a rape scene, should that book be pulled from our libraries? I think it becomes a slippery slope.
I think you ought to think about it a little bit more before you come here.
I've thought about,
if Senator, you're going to propose something, you ought to be able, in 30 seconds, to be able to explain what you're asking us to do. Ms. Kelly.
So Trey is saying, I mean, some people are just flamboyant in general. That doesn't mean they want your kids gay. Completely agreed. But those flamboyant gay people have to be the ones to, in the same way that I come out here and I'm like, the atheist who has to be like, look, I know, they're degenerates or this or that. But I'm the one here telling you that not all atheists are like that. Not all people who aren't in the church are like that. We need the people in that community to disavow that their own community. Otherwise, it's up to the rest of us outside of that community. And we don't have the information to be able to discern. And if you are less hateful, or rather, if you are more hateful than somebody like me, but not a evil, awful person, it does make sense that you would take the simplest and arguably the most unfair interpretation of all this stuff. So, I mean, I get where you're coming from, but the fact that there's so little pushback against this stuff from the left, from the LGBT, is why the defenses from the right have been up so far. It's only now in the past few months that the tide is starting to turn. So I mean, I agree with you that we should be able, like I'm not in I don't care if somebody is a normal gay or a not normal gay. If you want to be flamboyant, go and do whatever the hell you want to do. I am happy that I live in a country where we say, yes, if you want to be a flamboyant, whatever, you get to go do whatever you want to do as long as you're not hurting anybody. I appreciate that. I want that. I want you to be as flamboyantly gay as you can be, if that's what you want. But with that comes responsibility. the responsibility to show, hey, I'm really out there and I'm really kinky and I'm really this, that, whatever. But because it's so much different than the norm, then I make sure that there are things in place to separate what I'm doing from what kids should be doing or what normal people should be doing or whatever that means. So, I think it's definitely complex and it is nuanced for sure. But at the end of the day, we have to have across the board principles that apply. And so it can't be this type of person is bad. It has to be people who do this behavior, people who vote this way, people who use this language. It can't be, just because you're black, you're this. Just because you're gay, you're this. Just because you're Republican, you hate. It can't be like that. So, I mean, you're kind of almost doing the same thing in reverse, saying that, well, the Republicans just think that just because you're gay, that you want to turn other kids gay. Well, not really. Not really. Oh, did he die? Oh, he lasted a while. Carl said, I don't judge for mannerisms. I've seen dudes I would swear are gay, but they have a hot wife and 7 kids. Remember in the early 2000s, the whole metrosexual thing? Yeah, you never know. But either way, it definitely, Deed on the Kool-Aid. It definitely has the effect of, we might not, I don't know if this is going to come through. Hold on, let me see. I think that might just be good enough. I think I may have figured it out. How I can have both screens right here. And then we share this. Boom. All right. So let's get back into what this chick was saying.
Something refreshing.
Ex-Barstool podcaster had to say. This is Alex Bennett.
I was mad at Donald Trump for a very long time. I just watched the Jake Paul trailer interview. I don't know. Is there something refreshing about the guy?
Yes.
Is that because I'm comparing him to Joe? Yeah. Like, I'm still mad at him. I don't want to say I miss him, but do I miss him? I don't miss him, but do I like watching his content? Why is the president making content?
Honey, it's okay. You miss Trump. You like Trump. You want Trump. That is a good thing. Come to the dark side.
He knows where he's at. Is he going to win the election? Am I going to vote for him?
The fact that this video was able to be posted and kept up, like her caption was, I'll probably leave this up for like 6 seconds. She's left it up for weeks at this point. Again, because the response has been incredible. There was not a single negative comment. It was all people being like, yeah, you're right. I don't really remember why I was mad at him. I know that I was better off then than I am now. Like, it's just wild. This country might still be a mess, but a lot has changed in the last 4 years. Like 4 years ago, I was hyperventilating about posting something where I spoke out against lockdowns or how I wasn't going to vote for Biden because the threat of losing friends and an entire career was real. I mean, cancel culture was the thing that I was the most afraid of. That's why.
And so, she goes on a little bit more, but the main point that I was bringing with that was the idea that it's not as simple as men and women. It's not as simple as gay or straight and all that stuff. Shout out to Nick Luchetti in the building. Welcome to the party. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. So, in a similar vein, that is, so to be honest, that's kind of what I had to say about women. But in a slightly different realm here, Piers Morgan had on a panel
apparently
of a bunch of people here. And there was Michael Knowles, some liberal chick, Destiny, and Tommy Lauren, if you remember her. And check this out. So, all right.
Apparently, people will vote for a corpse over Donald Trump.
They will, and please let them do it. Let the partisan Democrats do it. I'm now all in on the Democratic rhetoric. The Democratic primary voters have made their decision. They want Joe Biden as their nominee. It would be an assault on the integrity of this country and on our sacred democracy if they replace him now. I can't wait to see him in all 50 states.
Oh yeah, the Democrats are in disarray. After that debate, they have no idea what they are going to do. Shout out to Orange and Slinky. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I don't trust Tommy at all. Tommy? Oh, Tommy the girl. I was thinking Tommy like Thomas, but no, yeah, she is a grifter. But welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Guys, again, if I could just ask you to either hit the 3 dots right there or just long press on your screen and we'll bring up the menu and just tap that like button. It helps so very, very much. Thank you.
See, if they replace him now, I can't wait to see him in all 50 states. At this point, obviously, the man is not up to the job. So someone else is running the country, whether that's Jill, whether it's Ron Klain, whether it's, I don't know, whether it's Barack Obama.
You know what's really interesting, Michael? This is really...
I did not really see how much, I mean, obviously nobody really knows who is pulling the strings and who is making what decisions and all that stuff. But it wasn't until that clip after, I'm sure you guys have seen that clip from after the debate when they're at whatever thing that, some post-debate talk or whatever it is. And I think I got it here. And she's just like treating him like a 4-year-old. Is this it? Come on, baby. All right, we're gonna go with it. I think. Yeah, okay, here we go. It wasn't until I saw this. You guys see this? Doesn't know where he is.
I can't thank you all enough for staying and for being here and for all your support.
Listen to what she said. Look at the way that she looks at him, and then the way that she just goes to the. It's hard to put into words, but you can tell she has so much more power than at least I realized before this moment.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts.
And that, so he's just like, oh yeah, great. Well, mommy said I did a good job.
And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do? Why?
Insane. I mean, it's something about that clip just shows me like, oh, she doing a lot. She doing her damn thing. Ballot said the trans ideology is pushing evil and division. Back in the 70s and 80s, trans just wanted to be transvestites, not take women's rights. Nobody disagreed. They already had rights. This is different. Definitely. But we'll get back to this one. But yeah, I completely agree with Michael Knowles here that somebody is pulling the strings.
Whether it's Ron Klain, whether it's, I don't know, whether it's Barack Obama.
You know what's really interesting, Michael? This is really interesting to me, this panel, because if we'd gone back, 3 months, you'd have all been shouting at each other, arguing about Trump. The two siding to the Democrat side here on the panel, you've been neutered by what's happened. I can feel that the luster has gone. The enthusiasm.
And I mean, we're talking about destiny here. Okay, we're talking about destiny here. Now that he got called out, he's going to come back and be, whatever. But Michael Knowles just goes off on a rant, and destiny has nothing to say. Have you ever seen that before? Good catch from Pierce.
It's happened. I can feel that the luster has gone. The enthusiasm to beat up conservatives has just flown out of your bodies. I mean, there's not been one argument. You've all just sat there going, we agree. He sucks. Your own guy sucks. He's barely alive. You've lost your fight, haven't you? Biden has removed the fight from Democrats. That's what I'm seeing here.
Absolutely. Actually, I agree with that.
You agree?
I totally disagree. No, if Donald Trump is taking insane, again, the Supreme Court ruling today is unbelievable. The idea that instead on today's show, we're going to focus on whether or not Biden had a bad debate performance is just reflective of the, I don't want to say agenda in a negative way, but of what you want to talk about today on this program.
He almost let it slip. We're going to put a pin in that. A shout out to, oh God, where'd it go? Shout out to Harley for bringing this up. I knew that Ben and Jerry's did some super gay shit last year for Pride, but apparently they got something new. Shout out to Harley Rose for whatever it is.
You can make progress.
Progress. Progress comes in many flavors.
You can make progress by doing the things you love.
If you can farm, fight food deserts. If you can surf, surf for racial justice. Like to read? Start a banned book club. Protest with an ice cream cone or project new meaning on an outdated statue. Get in a costume, but try not to get arrested. You have the tools for doing good.
What are you selling? Try not to get arrested?
And the greatest tool is your own unique flavor. Ben and Jerry's.
Wait, what was that one? So let's go back through this one. This BLM, No America Without Black America, the little banned book library. And look, it's empty. It's empty. It's empty. It's almost like there's no banned books. What other imagery? Let's just go through all of this here again. What do we got? We got.
You can make progress by doing the things you love.
Got naked bikers. Okay, great. Yep, wonderful. So okay, I assume when they show the ad that it looks like this, and they don't actually have the nude people. But yeah, don't forget about it's not gonna lick itself. The kid-friendly drag queens drag show that says it's not going to lick itself in neon lights as the young boy strategically places a dollar bill in the man wearing a G-string? I don't know. But okay, so we got farm stand. Okay, legit. Nothing.
If you can farm, fight food deserts. If you can surf, surf for racial.
Surfer holds a quote paddle out to support BLM movement and police reform. Wah, 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 wah.
Justice. Like to read?
So, yeah. So, it's the banned book library, critical race theory, classics, Greek art, love and marriage,
start a
history. Why would you want to? What? I don't even understand. If it's a little banned book library, then. And they're trying to say like, oh no, they banned our books. Here, you can get whatever you want. Then why are okay, I get it. They're taking it a step further. And they're saying that, oh, well, some banned books might be of this ilk and some banned books might be of this ilk. But you should be able to read whatever you want at any age, for any reason, at any time. That's the subtlety. They put the CRT there. If you can't see it, it's a critical race theory right at the edge, the top one.
If you can surf for racial justice. Like to.
So this one, critical race theory. So they're putting their own thing that they think is a good thing in with the other things. It took me a second. That is insidious. And yeah, it looks like this. I don't blame you for blocking it. That insidious.
Read, start a banned book club. Protest with an.
God damn, they're going so goddamn fast.
Surf for racial justice. Like to read, start a banned book club. Protest.
If it's melted, it's ruined. Okay.
With an ice cream cone or project new meaning on an outdated.
Either with the No America Without Black America or the Power Fifth
statue. Get in a.
Hold those clones. I don't even know what I'm looking at. Does anybody have any idea what this is? What? I don't even know. What even was that? Rowdy Ruff said some things should just be hard. Some things should be hard to come by. Not everyone needs to know how to make gunpowder. Well said. Harley said it's not that those subjects are bad. It's how they are taught. Yep, 100%. 100%. I mean, I agree. I don't think that any praxis of critical theory belongs in with children anyway. But that's a whole other thing. Yeah, I'm not sure what this whole thing is even supposed to be. So moving on.
Costume, but try.
What?
Not to get arrested. You have
Trust Black Wimixon.
the tools for doing good, and the greatest
We have
tool is your own unique
March. Scoop ice cream, not the reef. Hashtag
flavor. Ben and Jerry's.
Make some mother chunkin' change. Jesus Christ on a motorbike. They are yeah, we got that one. They are who is this? So this ties exactly into what I was saying about pop culture and about how if everything just gets thrown into the it's woke bucket, then that is going to be the same way that that's racist, that's transphobic, that's homophobic. The same way that, just like Carl said, most of the time we will just kind of brush that off because we hear it so often in places where it doesn't belong that it's a reasonable assumption that someone's just talking shit or whatever. And the same thing is going to happen. The same thing is going to happen. That is wild. That is wild. Wow. I'm left speechless by that. Speechless. But, all right. Wow. Let's dive back into the panel and see what they were saying about the Democrats being in disarray.
That instead on today's show, we're going to focus on whether or not Biden had a bad debate performance. It's just reflective of the I don't want to say agenda in a negative way, but of what you want to talk about today on this program. Like, I think that the decisions that are being made right now legislatively in the Supreme Court are more important, or that are being made in the Supreme Court.
You know why that's
than
happening?
whether or not Biden has a bad.
You know why it's happening? Because
the reason it's happening is exactly what we've all said, that the Democrats went too far, and now the Republicans are finally doing something about it. Trey said, I had my son reading an autobiography of Malcolm X, and I was told I'm teaching my son CRT and to hate white people because of that book. So I think that you would understand that most Trump supporters would probably not agree with this. Most Trump supporters would not say that by reading a book by Malcolm X, that it's CRT and that you're teaching kids to hate white people. The problem, again, becomes in the messaging. It was the left is very good at messaging. And so anything that had to do with race now became CRT. And when the CRT stuff actually is about the cultural Marxist oppressor versus oppressor dynamic, that actually is bad. Now it gets confused, the semantic obfuscation. Now nobody knows what they're talking about, and somebody thinks that Malcolm X is the same as Ibram X. Kendi. That's literally probably what they thought. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're just that dumb. But the point is, that's why we have to be particular and specific about these things. We have to talk about them. We have to play them out so that we can understand what is the difference between CRT and just the Black Panthers in general, and why there was some violence that was relevant and acceptable, or at least justifiable, and others is not. It's all nuanced. And that's why, again, children should not be taught these things, because they don't have the capabilities to make those discernments. Many adults do not have the capabilities to make those discernments. Roddy Ruff said, my favorite dictators are good parents. They should dictate kids to a certain extent. Okay, true. I'll give you that. You should definitely be a dictator to your child to some extent. To some extent, for sure.
Or that are being made in the Supreme Court.
You know why that's happening?
Whether or not Biden has a bad.
You know why it's happening? Because Trump was able to put 3 judges on the court in one term. You know why that was? Because you put up a terrible candidate, Hillary Clinton. It was incredibly polarizing, very arrogant.
Even though my dumbass listened to CNN and MSNBC and voted for her, my dumbass did that, and still.
Very superior, and she got flatlined by Trump when no one saw it coming on the Democrat side. And secondly, some of your Democrat judges who should have known better decided they weren't going to resign. They weren't going to retire. And because of that, Trump was able to pack that court. So I'm afraid you reap what you sow. Just very bad.
You reap what you sow. And shout out to our boy, the Funk Master General. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party with the $5 super chat. And of course, every donation comes with a treat for my co-host, Morty. Come on over here, Mort. The Funk Master has hooked you up. Everybody say hello to my co-host, Morty. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very, very much. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. And thank you so very, very much. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. How you doing, brother? All right. So let me fix that banger. What were we saying here?
Who should have known better, decided they weren't going to resign. They weren't going to retire. And because of that, Trump was able to pack that court. So I'm afraid you reap what you sow. Just very bad politics by the Democrats.
One of those Supreme Court justices were literally lost by McConnell just robbing a president of the right to seat a judge. Nobody remembers.
Nobody was robbed. Nobody was robbed. It's funny how for 2 years, we weren't allowed to say that the 2020 election, there was anything wrong with that. Because technically, everything was above board. But that's that wasn't allowed. You could get banned for that. Shout out again to the Funk Master General. We also got Mom and Pearl in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Said you look like you touch people without permission. You never know. Shout out to Guam Tech. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Good to see ya. Said women should be in politics, but Destiny shouldn't. Good one, good one, good one. Welcome to the party, brother. Good to see ya. Trey said I voted for Sanders in 2016 and 2020, and I might vote Cornel West. Oh, I don't vote Cornel West. I mean, do whatever you want, but like, really? Yes, my drag queen name is Shalele. I'm Shalele. All right. Where were we here?
McConnell just robbing a president of the right to seat a judge. Nobody remembers that Garland was supposed to be on the Supreme Court.
I remember, but again, he wasn't robbed. That's how it works. You're allowed to push that because it's an election year. And wasn't it Biden? I'm pretty sure Biden had something to do with that in the first place. I think that's why she's laughing here. I might be wrong, but let's back that up a little.
Almost
so I'm afraid you reap what you sow. Just very bad politics by the Democrats.
One of those Supreme Court justices were literally lost by McConnell just robbing a president of the right to seat a judge. Nobody remembers.
Shout out to someone who knows nothing about something. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Said the French should not be allowed in politics. Fair enough. Welcome to the party. Rowdy Ralph, so you should make your drag queen name TheIndianJesus. There we go. There we go. Don't you love my titties? Oh, yeah. It's so sexy, so good. Oh. I'm the best drag queen that ever was, bruh. Welcome to the party. Someone who knows nothing about something. Yeah, the French aren't good at politics, but they are good at riots. Facts. Oh, yeah. So, just in case I didn't highlight it, I was trying to say the irony that even though the rules were followed with McConnell and Merrick Garland and him not getting on the Supreme Court, there was no rules broken, there was nothing illegal done. But here Destiny is crying about it. Yet when we say, okay, technically no rules were broken, even though they were, let's just say no rules were broken, that the election was perfectly fine. It was perfectly fine. What do you mean? There was nothing wrong with the election.
Remembers that Garland was supposed to be on the Supreme Court for almost a full year. McConnell said, we're not going to have that hearing. That is indefensible.
Let me bring in Michael here.
Oh, my God.
Tommy has to leave in a moment. So Michael, come to you, then come back to Tommy for a final wrap from her. But Michael.
Destiny, the principle that you're articulating that a president should be able to put a judge on the court in an election year, or rather that you say Mitch McConnell violated, was a rule first articulated by Joe Biden in the 90s when he was trying to kill George Bush's judges. So obviously.
Exactly. So it's Biden's fault that this idea that, oh, it's an election year, and so usually the power as the president you should have to select Supreme Court judges, you can't do that anymore. Biden himself is at least partly responsible for that. And now Destiny is complaining that the rule that Biden enacted was followed. Not enacted, but, just come on. So Balance says to Trey, let's stop it. He is paid to push. So Malcolm X is dead. So are you Balance? Are you thinking of Ibram X. Kendi? Because we're talking about Malcolm X, and that's what I'm saying. I think that's an easy confusion. I said I still think Alaska Thunderfuck is the best drag queen name. I definitely can't top that. But yeah,
there was in an election year, or rather that you say Mitch McConnell violated, was a rule first articulated by Joe Biden in the 90s when he was trying to kill George Bush's judges. So obviously there was a decision today. It said that the president has some immunity for criminal acts or acts committed in his official capacity as president. And this is based on a 40-year precedent. It really goes all the way back to the Marshall Court. Really nothing should be surprising about this. And yes, the Democrats are upset. They're
not
inveighing.
true. That this is
just
based
let me
on
finish
precedent.
1 second, Destiny. They're inveighing because they say we should be talking about the immunity case. Well, part of the articulation of, I just was reading the decision, was that, look, this is the first time that you've got a president who's being prosecuted in this way. And that's the problem, because the vast majority of Americans, right, left, and center, have been saying in survey after survey that they view the prosecutions of Trump as primarily politically motivated.
And that's what's behind all of this, is that the left keeps doing things and pushing. And it's always been the GOP, which is why a lot of people are, more disaffected liberals and politically homeless than anything else. I have never been down with the GOP. But that's changing. The pushing that the Democrats have done. Finally, things are getting pushed back from the other side, which isn't ideal. Okay. I'm with you there then. Okay. My bad. Yeah. I don't like Cornel West at all. I think he has good intentions, but I think he's just a product of black his whole life. I mean, everything is just race. I completely agree with you. My mistake. What were you just saying? Oh yeah, the pushing, the constantly doing this. And what was the frustration from conservative voters? The Republicans don't do anything. They're always reacting to the Democrats. And so now, finally, the fact that the Republicans are doing things to ensure that the playing field is a little bit more balanced, he's crying about it. Crying like a little bitch.
After survey that they view the prosecutions of Trump as primarily politically motivated. They view this as kind of corrupt. And that's one of the reasons why Biden's poll numbers have been so bad for so long. And so they throw this Hail Mary to do a debate in June before either party has settled on a nominee. And it completely blew up in their face. And so no wonder people want to talk about it. You've got a political order that is fraying. You got a guy trying to put his opponent into an orange jumpsuit. And it turns out the guy who's trying to do that has applesauce for brains.
Remember, because Destiny was saying, well, there's other stuff that we could talk about, but all you guys want to talk about, all your agenda is that you want to talk about Biden and how he did. But yeah, dude, that's the important thing.
No wonder people are concerned. The American people, a bit like the British, I think would be the same in this position. They can smell a political hit job. And the fact that the first case that was used against Trump to try and convict him and put him in prison involved a payoff to a porn star 20 years ago for a supposed one-night stand, or whether it happened or not. That just smelt to them like a massive overreach. Whether he did it or not, they didn't care. And so the idea that the first American president in history to ever be convicted of a crime in a criminal court is convicted over something so pathetic and trivial.
Which then brings us into the whole Chevron deference thing. This is precisely why the Chevron deference case got overturned. They're like, oh, they actually will go and as deep as they need to go, all the way down to petty financial crimes, to put a political opponent in jail. And they're like, whoa, how could they be doing this? How could they be doing this? Well, maybe if you hadn't been pushing the rules for the last 40 years, then we wouldn't be here. Now, again, that doesn't mean are off the hook for not doing anything and now having to throw a Hail Mary and do something more drastic. But it didn't come out of nowhere.
The American people, the right-minded, reasonable people who are not in the kind of mad tribal ends of their parties, all went, well, that's ridiculous. And actually demeaning to the country. Yep. Destin, I could see you thoroughly agreeing with everything Tommy was saying there.
It's just, Francesca, I think is the name. I agree with her. The thing that Democrats suck on, that we're missing, is this blind allegiance to a leader, literally no matter what he does. It is the engine that powers Republicans. It allows them to lie for their leader. It allows them to excuse horrendous actions by the leader. It allows them to look at a president and for after decades.
Wait a minute. What? Did he not just say the problem with the left is that they're too willing to just go with the leader and say that's why Republican, what? I definitely missed something here.
Just blind allegiance to a leader, literally no matter what he does. It is the engine that powers Republicans. It allows them to lie for their leader. It allows them to excuse.
One more time. I definitely missed something.
All went, well, that's ridiculous. And actually demeaning to the country.
Okay, so we're saying
and I could see you thoroughly agreeing with everything Tommy was saying there.
It's just, Francesca, I think is the name. I agree with her. The thing that Democrats suck on, that we're missing.
The thing that Democrats suck on, the thing that we're missing, that's what he's talking about. And somehow that goes to, this is why Republicans. Can somebody make sense of this for me, please?
This blind allegiance to a leader, literally no matter what he does. It is the engine that powers Republicans. It allows them to
what?
Lie for their
leader. Then at best, or rather at worst, what you're saying is that people will just go blindly with their leader. If it's a problem with Democrats and it's a problem with Republicans, then it's not a Republican problem or a Democrat problem. It's a people problem. Am I missing something? Carl said Piers Morgan is fantastic lately. As PBD said, it's like watching the Morton Downey Jr. show with the loudmouth section. He needs to start smoking. There you go. I mean, I definitely there's definitely pros and cons to this style. The talking head style, where it is a standard news show, and everybody's fighting for their time. It can be beneficial to bring out important points that then can foster better conversations, but it's not my favorite format. I think I agree that it has, he has had a lot of good people on, a good collection of people, like the different people on the panel. Who you put on the panel will definitely change that by a lot. But yeah, not my favorite, but Piers is definitely doing the damn thing.
What he does. It is the engine that powers Republicans. It allows them to lie for their leader. It allows them to excuse horrendous actions by the leader. It allows them to look at a president and for after decades of saying, oh, we need to limit the power of government. Oh, we need to limit the power. Say,
sir, I didn't even like being called the conservative until like 8 months ago. I still don't really like it, but I just don't care anymore. So this decades thing that you're talking about, I would first of all, I'm only 34 years old. I've only been allowed to vote for less than 2 decades. Shout out to Pure Henny in the building. Welcome to the party. Said Democrats are all liars and Democrats are demons. Well, I think I agree with you. Welcome to the party. But yeah, I don't know how he took this thing. The Democrats do this, and that's the problem with the Republicans.
Well, maybe the president should actually be above most criminal prosecution. Also, as a quick thing, you keep saying that, no, it's just partial immunity for official acts. What is an official act of the president? If you actually listen to the oral arguments that were presented before the Supreme Court, what that act even is, and the ability to even probe for it, is stuff right now that is now presumed to be immune. For instance,
but that's the new line is that, oh, he could do whatever he wants. He could just go and kill somebody. Like, nope, no, that's not quite how it works. Not much. We were talking before about should women be allowed in politics? Should women be allowed around politics? Should women be allowed to vote? And we kind of came to the conclusion that a reasonable position is that we need better messaging for women, not to take the vote away from women. And now we're just taking a look at how the Democrats are in disarray after that debate. Disarray. Shout out to New York.
Just a real quick thing. When Donald Trump is asking Pence, hey, can you throw out the election because I don't like the results, which is a real thing that happened, by the way, as much as Trump's like to say that's not true, that is counted as an official action because these are the roles of the president and vice president, deciding how to count the electoral votes. That is insanity to me. If Biden were to do anything even remotely similar, Republicans would lose their minds.
Have you read the decision? I know it just came out this morning, but have you gone through the decision yet?
I read up to page 25, and part of it, I can read it out to you. He explicitly calls out that whenever the president and vice president discuss
this is another issue with Destiny is again something I do find with myself as well, that he's so far down the rabbit hole. He didn't think for a second that maybe Michael Knowles had a reason to ask if he'd read the actual text yet. That implies that you said something that triggered in him somebody who, again, I'm guessing, somebody who has read the document, that something you said doesn't align with the actual document, and you haven't actually read what you're talking about. So in the future, if somebody is like, hey, this thing that you're talking about, have you actually read that thing? Or do you actually know this thing? It's probably because they're ready to call you out. And they might be wrong. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't be ready to answer that question.
The official responsibilities, they engage in official.
Read the decision? I know it just came out this morning, but have you gone through the decision yet?
I read up to page 25, and part of it, I can read it out to you. He explicitly calls out that whenever the president and vice president discuss the official responsibilities, they engage in official conduct, meaning that presiding over the January 6th certification proceeding, at which members, yes, so that did count as official conduct. So if you thought that he was trying to do a coup, try to steal the election by saying, hey, do you think you can throw those votes out? Well, that's beyond prosecution.
You can dispute or object to any actions that Trump takes, but it is simply the case that when a president is carrying out his duties and is speaking to his subordinates in the White House, that is obviously official business.
Right.
If he were to bring in a bunch of, I don't know, drug dealers and hookers or something, that would probably be an unofficial crime, not related to his duties as president. And the reason that this matters and why it's really a moderate decision is because it goes back about 40 years to Nixon versus Fitzgerald, which found out that the president, yes, indeed, has quite a lot of immunity from at least from civil liability. And then the reason that this is such a novel bombshell case is because until Joe Biden...
Bro, you ruined it. You ruined it.
Biden tried to throw his rival into the clink, we didn't prosecute presidents because that's the kind of behavior typical of banana republics and tin pot dictatorships. But the argument, and I'm sure you've read this, even if you've just read the first 25 pages, goes all the way back to the Marshall Court. It goes all the way back to the finding that the presidency does have certain privileges. It's not totally beholden to the other two branches of government. It's got an executive privilege. We have a separation of powers here. It goes back to the Federalist Papers when the framers of the Constitution said that they need a vigorous presidency because the problem with the first American Republic, which was the Articles of Confederation, was that you didn't have any strong executive power. So this is
right. So and Carl's saying they should be happy if they were smart. This protects Biden too, and he is a total criminal. I agree with you there, but it's almost I would almost come from it at the complete opposite angle, in the sense that that yes, they're all in the same boat, and that even though that is the case, we've been on this norm that you don't go after presidents because it just works out better. We don't have the counterfactual. I mean, we will after this, and already we're seeing all these decisions and everything. But it's just been for the health of the nation. It's better to just, move on. But the crimes are getting worse, and the battle is getting more and more intense, to the point where I don't know if it's a good thing. I don't know if it's a good thing. I mean, I think that it is, in the sense that we don't want to have to go through this again. Thank you, Henny. Very, very much appreciated. Go through this again with another president just because they don't like him. And I also haven't read the full decision, so full disclosure there. But I'm not necessarily comfortable with we could just call this an official act and it's all good. There's plenty of war crimes without that. And now with even more wiggle room for the federal government, it just I don't know that it's a good thing to begin with. And so yeah, impeachment is the answer to presidential misconduct in every case, but that was already the case. And so what and this is coming from ignorance, but what I need to see is what exactly has what types of decisions or behaviors or actions are now protected that weren't before. Because as I understand, it's not total immunity. But exactly, impeachment was already the answer. You impeach him, you remove him, and then you charge him for whatever he does. If it's bad, then why would he not get impeached? And so the fact that they wanted to protect their bad guy as well just shows how little they understand about the landscape in general. That, like, just because this helps Trump potentially, maybe right now in the short term, doesn't mean it's good for America in the long term. And vice versa. Nick said, I'd like to see women being told about politics by their parents when they're young, so they're informed enough to make a good decision about how they vote, not just being convinced to vote Democrat. Right? It was definitely a big thing that we don't talk about politics, to be polite, and that politeness aspect definitely applied more to women than men. And so we can see why it would make sense that women might not be as politically engaged as your average man. Shout out Guamtag. Thank you very much. You have a good one. Pierre Henny said, did you see the post interview Biden saying Trump lied 28 times when there's 1,000 trillionaires in the United States? What a joke. They think spurring out numbers makes people believe them. Well, unfortunately, it does work on enough people that they'll keep doing it. But I think the number of people that it's working on is starting to dwindle, and people are starting to. I think as long as they're willing to agree with the bottom line that Trump is Trump is too bad, and we need Biden to prevent Trump. I think if they are there, then they'll grab on to whatever numbers you give them to justify that, because they're already at the conclusion that I want Biden because I think Trump is the worst. They already think that. And so giving them he lied 1,000 times about trillionaires. Like, do they really care? It's just another thing that helps lead them to their conclusion. It's sad. It's sad. But you are right, sir.
American Republic, which was the Articles of Confederation, was that you didn't have any strong executive power. So this is not something new. This is a perfectly in keeping with the American legal tradition. And now the Democrats are really upset about it, not because it's an upending of American jurisprudence, but because they're going to actually have to run on their guy. They're not going to be able to cheat and throw the guy in jail or take him out of banish him to St. Helena. They're going to have a fair and square election, and they know they're going to lose it.
Yeah, can I just ask a quick question? I just want to hear just a quick question.
Yeah.
So you're saying that if a president were to order the assassination of a presidential opponent in an election, you're telling me that if he thinks it's for national security reasons, you defend that as being above any kind of review for criminal prosecution?
No, Destiny. If you thought it was, if let's say that situation did happen, then as Carl said here, impeachment is the answer to presidential misconduct. So if you assassinate your opponent, then you get impeached. You get removed, and you get tried for murder. But I don't, and I go back and forth with Destiny on this kind of stuff. Does he know that he's smuggling his conclusion into the question, or is he being dishonest? Or excuse me, is he being dumb? Does he know, and is he being dishonest? Is he smuggling in that we would obviously not be okay with an assassination anyway? Or is he just too dumb to realize that that's not what we're talking about, bro? I think he does too, because he's very intelligent, but sometimes I really don't know. Nick said Biden showed his hand and he was holding aces and eights. You could do better than that. I don't even think he had an ace. I'd say he had 2 7-off suited. But Carl said he knows. So listen to it again. See if he smuggles it in.
The assassination of a president. Just a quick question. I just want to hear just a quick question. Yeah. So you're saying that if a president were to order the assassination of a presidential opponent in an election, you're telling me that if he thinks it's for national security reasons, you defend that as being above any kind of review for criminal prosecution?
And again, of course, the answer is no. And I trust. Let me get back here. And I trust that Michael Knowles will be able to handle himself with the answer there. But yeah, the question smuggles in. You think this? Like, no, I don't think that.
You would say, well, that was an official act as president, right? I answer that question. I really want to answer that question.
Obviously,
I can answer you if you don't interrupt. You're bringing up one of the important questions that was raised during the oral arguments, and it's an argument against the case that Trump's team was making.
So like I thought, the reason that Knowles brought up, well, did you read the decision? Well, clearly there was something in that decision that something Destiny said triggered Michael Knowles to be like, oh, wait, I read the decision. That is not true, or that doesn't match up.
Arguments, and it's an argument against the case that Trump's team was making, but it doesn't really pertain to the actual judgment that came down, because they didn't say that the president gets to do whatever he wants. He doesn't get to go and assassinate his rivals. He doesn't get to do this, that, or the other thing. But he does have.
Sotomayor
very
had that in her
robust
dissent. She said he could do that, and it'd be beyond review. She put that in her dissent. I did read her dissenting opinion. So how would it be not part of the official job as president? They order drone strikes, don't they? They order the military, don't they? He's the commander in chief, isn't he? Why wouldn't he be able to order the strike and say, you can impeach me if you want, but you can't hold me criminally liable. This is my official act as president.
Sure. Well, I mean, even the aspect of impeachment is kind of secondary to that, because the Trump team was arguing that if you want to go after a president at all, you've got to do it through impeachment. And the court said, no, you can actually prosecute former presidents for crimes that they committed in office. So the fever dream that you and other Democrats are creating of what this decision implies is not actually what the court said. Right. The court gave a very moderate opinion that said that certain aspects that are conclusive and preclusive within the scope of the executive branch, he has full immunity, and he's got partial immunity around the peripheries, and then he could be criminally liable outside of that. And if you're asking why, President Trump's...
He could be criminally liable outside of that. So he can't just do whatever he wants. It's not that simple. But of course, it's got to be trumped down to, oh my God, they said he could do whatever he wants. He's going to kill her. Like, come on. Here, honey said, hey, I subscribed. Thank you so much. Love listening to you, bro. I'll drop in when I see you go live. Gotta go to sleep. You have a great night. I am live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, down in the studio, and then sometimes from the bedroom whenever I feel like it. But Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, I will see you there. Thank you so much for coming by. All right, let's dive back in here.
And then he could be criminally liable outside of that. And if you're asking why, President Trump standing on Fifth Avenue and shooting his rival in the face, how we could possibly prosecute him for that, I think you just don't have any faith in the American legal tradition. And I think
you're because if he did that, then we would impeach him and remove him and then charge him.
You're making an absurd argument to try to justify something that actually does upend over 200 years of America.
You guys all think that, Biden's a criminal mastermind. He's trying to lock up his opponents. Peers.
Whoa. Damn it. You know what? Now, I was going to make a joke about Biden not being a mastermind, but I realized that I heard that when Noel said it here.
You guys all think that, Biden's a criminal mastermind. He's trying to lock up his opponents. Peers. Michael, he did it to himself. I'm sorry. He did. He didn't have to pay off the porn star by cooking his books, by falsifying business records. Thank you. You're welcome.
chat going. Nick said aces and eights are known as the dead man's hand because that's what wild Bill Hicklock was holding when he was murdered. Good to know. Good to know. Aces and eights. There you go.
Pay off the porn star by cooking his books, by falsifying business records. Thank you. You're welcome.
You know what happened?
Right? Like he just did it to himself.
Francesca, the problem is, from the moment he got convicted of that crime, what happened? He raised $150 million in 1
From
week.
billionaires, but not from everyday people. Ordinary people aren't giving to Donald.
I wish I knew how to, like, I could find it if I took time, but if I could go to it right now, I'd look up the dollar donation, the dollar amount of the donations on that day. So yeah, the billionaires donated to him, but normal people didn't. Off the top of my head, know at least 5 people who are not billionaires donated to Trump on the day that the verdict came down. Insane.
Of that crime.
Lie
what happened? He raised $150 million in 1 week.
Billionaires, but not from everyday people. Ordinary people aren't giving to Donald
I've
Trump.
not met any. Honestly, I've not
him.
met any American since that conviction who doesn't just feel a bit embarrassed. A bit embarrassed it ever happened. It was embarrassing for America.
I'd also like to correct the record, if you don't mind, Piers, because Francesca said that I accused Joe Biden of being a mastermind. I have never once in my life accused Joe Biden of being a mastermind.
I tried to make the joke, and I realized that when I was playing through this before, I heard him make it. So,
been possessing one.
Where are we heading with this, do you think? Talk me through to Election Day. What do you actually think is going to happen?
Even if what you'd like to see happens, Francesca, even if it's Newsom or somebody, you still have to contend with the fact that the Democrats would then be skipping over the first black woman vice president with the whitest guy who has ever walked the face of the earth.
Hang on. It's almost like if you hadn't been focusing on race and racism constantly for the last 40 years, you wouldn't be in a bad position right now.
Hang on. There's actually a little twist in that, which Bill Maher got onto, which is if Newsom is the guy, he can't have Kamala as his vice president because they're both from California. So it would only apply if she actually wanted to run for president. But if he was to become the nominee, he wouldn't have to have Kamala Harris because he wouldn't be allowed to.
Interesting. So I wonder how they definitely can use that either to say why Gavin Newsom wouldn't be the who they're going to replace Biden with because they can't knock Kamala out, or they could say Gavin is the perfect person to put him in because behind the scenes they don't want Kamala in, and he's the only one that could knock her out without pushing her aside. Very interesting. I didn't put that together.
Become the nominee, he wouldn't have to have Kamala Harris because he wouldn't be allowed to because they're both from California, which is an interesting part of this equation. So they could put him in. I mean, they would be overlooking her for the top job, but he wouldn't have to worry about getting rid of her from the vice presidency because he wouldn't be allowed to have her. So that's just it's an interesting little part of the subtext here.
Sure. I still think the look is pretty bad, though. If she wants the top job, she ran for it the first time.
Right.
And, she also launched her campaign back in 2020, we now forget, on Joe Biden's alleged racism.
And she was like, oh, you're so racist, putting us back in chains. Oh, but can I be your VP and be president next?
Of busing. So she's, there's no love lost here between Biden and Kamala. I don't think he wants to pass it to her. I don't think Biden cares all that much for anyone else in the Democratic Party. And I think he's wanted to be president since he was in the womb.
Yeah.
So if, in terms of...
It's questionable whether Biden even has the capacity to understand not only where he is and what he's doing, but how that affects other people. To expect that Biden understands that it is not only that, where he is mentally, but how that affects the people around him and how that affects the people in general. And then to think that on top of all that, he is aware of all that and he cares about all that. I don't think so.
Democratic Party. And I think he's wanted to be president since he was in the womb.
Yeah.
So if, in terms of how do we get to November, the only way that Joe Biden leaves the ticket is if he chooses to, or if one of his caretakers choose to. And so to Destiny's point, I actually kind of understand why you would say, I'll vote for an urn over Donald Trump, because what you're saying is the president doesn't really matter. It's run by a committee and the administrative state, and it'll just...
And you can flip that around too, that, oh, it's, you know, it's just a committee. That's precisely the point why the whole thing about Trump being, you know, a cult leader or whatever doesn't work. Because we know he's not a monarch. He's not a dictator. He has people around him, as any other president would. Nixon, I don't want either of those things. Sorry, but neither one qualifies as humans. Demons, maybe, but definitely not humans. Definitely not.
Doesn't really matter. It's run by a committee and the administrative state, and it'll just keep kind of chugging along, and that'll be fine. The problem, though, with that argument for voters is that everything has gone to hell in a handbasket since Biden got elected. So, you know, you were mentioning earlier, Ukraine or Israel or this or that. All I can remember, and Trump made a good point of this during the debate, is for the last 20 years, the only president on whose watch Vladimir Putin hasn't invaded more land is Trump. He did it under Bush. He did it under Obama. He's done it under Biden. He didn't do it under Trump. During Trump, we had peace in the Middle East, believe it or not. We had the Abraham Accords and Israel and Saudi Arabia becoming buddies. There's a town in Israel named after Donald Trump. I wouldn't have guessed it either, but it happened.
Really?
Now, of course, we have this major outbreak of war. You don't need to take my word for it. Vladimir Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, said that the reason that the Russians invaded is because of American weakness, specifically Biden's, and the fact that Biden actually invited them and said if it was a minor incursion, he wouldn't do anything. So you might dispute all these things and say I'm missing the point or something, but the voters clearly agree with me on this. This is why Biden's so low in the polls.
Exactly. The voters, us, we agree. Biden is too old. Shout out to Ellie Cruz Orchid. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. How are you doing? We are just talking about how the Democrats are in disarray after the debate and you know, Supreme Court decisions and all that good stuff. They are not having a good time. Oh, shoot, what are they doing? They are not having a good time. So there was one more thing that I wanted to show you, because I wasn't super familiar with that Francesca girl. But I saw this from the liberal hive mind, who had a video on the Piers Morgan thing. And I don't know, it's just something about it. There's something about it. Hold on here. We got Guy in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Said Trump serves the super rich and the ruling class. Anyone who thinks he cares about working people is being conned. So the super rich and the ruling class, all the people that are trying to take him down, that's who he caters to? Then why? Seems like if that was the case, then they'd be protecting him at all costs. It seems like they're doing the opposite of that. Now, I agree with you that you don't care about working people. No president, no politician does. They're all selfish assholes who just want power. But we as voters need to be able to say, okay, this guy is a liar and that guy is a liar, but both of them have an agenda and they're not equal. So which one better aligns with what I want? And very easily, it's not Biden. Hey, shout out to the Funk Master General. Bam, 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 bam. Another $10 super chat. No question, no comment, just pure love of the game. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very, very much. And as you know, every donation comes with a treat for my co-host, Morty. Come here, bud. Come on and get your treats. Come on and get your treat. Look how cute he is, and he's eating it up. There we go. There we go. Good job. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Good job, Morty. Okay, you can go back to sleep. You can go back to sleep. We'll wake you up when we need to. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Out sponsoring yourself. Thank you so very, very, thank you very much. We got Ruthless Admin in the building. Welcome to the party. The guy's take was my misguided assumption in 2016. I said shit. Me too. Me too. Because I think Trump does care about people. You can see it in how he interacts with his voters. You can tell the other politicians hate and fear the crowds they deal with. That's very interesting. I will agree as far as Of course, you know, the interactions. I 100% agree with the you know, how you can tell the difference in the interactions. But I don't necessarily think that is like, even as a normal person, you only have the bandwidth to care about so much. And I think it's like, so, you know, like Balance is saying Trump cares a lot about people. I don't think those are mutually exclusive. I don't think those are mutually exclusive, in the sense that nobody is going to make sure that you personally are getting taken care of and have your needs met and everything like that. But you can have the understanding that you care about America, and the understanding that you need to cater to the working class in order for America to be what you want it to be. So I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I don't think he cares. I don't think that Trump cares about me. I don't think that if I died, Trump would care. He doesn't know me. But that doesn't mean that what he wants is not much more aligned with what I want than with what Biden wants. So again, this is from the same segment.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Here's two.
If you're just listening, the meme of the day is just a picture of Joe Biden that says, end of quote, Joe Biden.
Things that always go hand in hand. Leftist government and state media. You know, kind of an odd trend, but of course the important question, the core question here is why? Why do those two things always seem to go hand in hand? Well, it's actually very simple. Left-wing power structures can only exist in a fact vacuum. The left simply cannot win. They cannot remain in power unless they have the ability to misinform. And that's why they rely on dishonest state or regime media. The media propagandists are the ones doing the heavy lifting. Without the media, the Democrat Party is nothing. In other words, if the media actually did their job, if they actually asked proper questions and challenged these neo-Marxists effectively, well then the whole dishonest house of cards would obviously come tumbling down, probably even crashing down. I got a really good clip from Piers Morgan's Uncensored show to show you guys that I think is going to really help make my point and really help put things into perspective. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so slowly building the groundwork here. Let's just say this: if more journalists acted like Piers Morgan, I think it's safe to say the political realm would be vastly different.
I think it is depressing and enraging.
Well, before we dive into that, we got Fatima in the building. Welcome to the party. Said, what does Biden versus Trump want exactly? They are both genocide supporters. So I think that Biden just wants power. I think he just wants to check off the box of winning. I think Trump wants to bring America back to a place where we were a bit more respected on the world stage. I mean, I don't know what in terms of, you know, genocide. That's a very strong word. They're kind of just throwing that out with I don't really know what you mean by that specifically, but it's very clear that they want very different things, and the way that they go about solving issues as well is different, in terms of one wanting to solidify power, and we'll fix it, we'll do this, we'll pay for that, we'll do that, versus the Trump side giving the resources so that people can do things for themselves, which inevitably leads to a better nation and happier people. Balance said he loves the country and he will stop the WF. That's all anyone should care about at this time, because most countries are under the WF's control. America has got a chance. I'm with you there. I am definitely with you there. Guys, so don't get me wrong. I'm no fan of Biden either. They are equally as bad. Trump is just as self-serving as Biden, and I think the evidence for his corruption is overwhelming at this point. Trump's foreign policy is okay, though. His saving grace, aside from support for Israel. So what I cannot see how anybody could think that Biden and Trump are equally bad. So can you give me an example of something that is bad that Trump did that is equally as bad as Biden, or the other way around? That would, like, in your eyes, like, he did this, so I don't like him, and Trump did this, and so I think they're equally bad. God, you are woke and stupid. I agree. Welcome to the party, Mandy Moore. Based. God, You are woke and stupid. God damn it, God. Why do you got to be so goddamn woke and stupid? Anyway,
political realm would be vastly different.
I think it is depressing and enraging to millions of Americans who the only person they hate more than Joe Biden and Kamala Harris maybe is Donald Trump, right? Is the fact that you have everything going against Donald Trump, not just the fact that he will pass a national abortion ban, the fact that he wants to implement Project 2025 and abolish the...
Said who? Said who? I've been hearing all this and that and everything about Project 2025. Nowhere on anything, anywhere, have I seen anything from Trump or the Trump administration or the Republican Party about Project 2025. That is a think tank. It's just people thinking things, saying things. QAnon, Project 2025, in my eyes, exactly the same thing. So, guys, so they're both unwilling to provide the basic human right of healthcare to every human in the U.S. Okay, I mean, fair enough. I can't argue that. Fair enough. Thank you, Nick. Thank you. Carl said the FBI has been investigating Trump's for 7 years and found nothing. Where is the corruption? They would have found it by now. I agree. That's what I think if all we could say is that they're both unwilling to provide universal health care and that makes them equally bad, I don't really have an argument against that. I mean, I disagree because I don't think that is a bad thing. But fair enough. I can't argue with the logic. Balance said Project 25 is BS. It's to take the focus off Agenda 30. Wasn't it Agenda 47? I thought it was Agenda 47, no? Agenda, is it 2030? So then what is Agenda 47? Because that's what I thought we were talking about. So Agenda 47 is a package of proposals that Donald Trump states he would... Wait, am I showing you this? I'm not showing you this. Agenda 47 is a package of proposals that Donald Trump said he would bring. Okay, so that's what I was talking about. So this is from Donald Trump directly. What is Agenda 2030? The AI overview. The 2030 agenda is sustainable development for the 2030 agenda for sustainable development is a 15-year global framework that was adopted by the UN in September 2015. The agenda is So I think maybe we're talking 20. There's an agenda 21. What's agenda 21? Oh, okay. Non-binding action by the UN for sustainable development. It was adopted at the UN conference in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil in '92 by more than 178 governments. The plan aims to address current problems and prepare the world for future challenges by providing a global consensus on development and environmental cooperation. It calls for action by governments, organizations, the UN system, and major groups in every area where the humans impact the environment. So I think, that seems to be what the left is pushing. Is that what you're saying? That they're pushing Project 25 to take off their agenda 21 and 30? Because Trump should have gone with something other than Agenda 47 if they were already using all this agenda this, agenda that. But yeah, that's all I've seen from him is Agenda 47. And if the left and the WEF is going after 21 and 30, no, thank you. No, thank you. Ruthless Admin said, healthcare can't be a right because it requires the labor of others to build and operate the infrastructure. Is there anything, just to play devil's advocate, is there anything, so what rights do we have that are there? I'm trying to think if there are any other rights that require the labor of others. Because I mean, obviously, I agree with you. I'm just wondering if that is the reason that it can't be a right. or if it's just a good reason why we don't do it that way. Guy said, you don't think it's a bad thing that the richest country on earth, people can't get healthcare without going bankrupt? Of course I do. It's 2024, for God's sake. I'm no politically active. Don't hate. I don't hate you. I'm very glad that you're here, and I'm very glad that you are fostering this conversation, because if we were all just like, yeah, what, you're right about everything, then this wouldn't be very much fun. So I very much appreciate you. Don't hate you at all. Yeah, I'm with Ruthless Admin there. We definitely can do better. I do think it's bad, but that doesn't mean that just throwing money at it and saying, oh, everybody gets this, is going to be a good thing. And so the assumption, I'm not saying you, Guy, but the assumption from a lot of people on the left is that just because somebody like myself or Ruthless Admin would say, I don't think that's the best way to go about it, that we don't want people to be able to be healthy. And those are two wildly different statements. Wildly. Shout out to Dylan Soup. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Okay, all right. So we are on the same page. Agenda 47. There we go. Yeah. All right. Definitely not down with Agenda 2021 or 2030. Those are no bueno. And it definitely is a good way to distract from those things to talk about Project 2025. Either way. Indeed, I am. First-time Trump supporter. Let's go. I voted for Hillary in 2016 because I didn't know jack shit about shit. That scared the hell out of me. So I decided that because I voted for Hillary, but I really voted against Trump. And then I decided after that never, ever, ever again will I vote against anybody. So by 2020, I was okay with Trump, but I still was like, I'm not really sure. And so I thought it was more responsible to just abstain. But now I am there. I'm fully red-pilled, and Trump or bust. I believe that this is an existential election for our nation. I'm not saying I necessarily think that if Biden wins or if the Democrats win, that for sure we'll never have an election again. That is absolutely not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if there is to be a situation where in the near future elections are done and America is done, it's going to be because Trump didn't win. Now, again, that also doesn't mean that if Trump wins, that we're saved. Yay! But I see the Biden administration as us in a car careening off a cliff, and I see the Trump administration as just standing in one spot and not doing jack shit. So I'm there. I'm looking to 2028 because I don't think anything is going to get done regardless of who wins in the next 4 years. But I think if Trump wins, then in 28 we'll be in a position to move forward. Whereas if Biden wins, then we're still going to be spinning our wheels and trying to get away from Agenda 2030. Yeah, so again, it requires the labor of others. You can't force people to be doctors or help you if they don't want to. If they do, that's slavery. Slavery is no bueno. Carl said, I won't criticize you for voting Hillary. I voted for George W. Bush twice before becoming libertarian and branching out from there. Yeah, I mean, I think we all, it's hard to know like how to just jump in. You know, that whole like, what's that game with the jump ropes, the double dutch or whatever it is, where it's like that. It's like, okay, it's hard to jump in, and you might be a little off kilter when you first get there. And in this analogy, you might trip. But in the political analogy, you might go after follow the wrong people and listen to the wrong people and get the wrong ideas and all that stuff. Double Dutch, thank you. That's what I was talking about. Double Dutch. There you go. But yeah, the I forgot what I was just saying. It was a good analogy, and I don't fucking remember what I was saying. Oh, politics in general. Yeah, you might get in there and stumble a little bit. I think that's fair for all of us. I think we should all be able to make some mistakes as long as we learn from them, right? As long as we learn from them. Guy said to Ruth, is anything a human right then? According to that logic, everything requires labor. Water requires labor? You know, it just comes out of the sky for free, right? Water, food. It goes on. Water, food, shelter, healthcare. I grew up in Europe where these things are considered basic rights. How's that going? And I appreciated, guy says, that and was thankful for it. And I felt like it worked better than here in the US. So then why are you here? Why wouldn't you go back to where you think it's better? I'm not saying get out. I'm a genuine question. Why, if you have lived there and you like it better there, why be here? Funkmaster General said, basic human rights are what you can provide for yourself. Exactly. So if you can, so going back to the list guy that you had, water comes out of the sky. Food, walking around or grows out of the ground. Shelter, you can build it with stuff that you find in nature. Healthcare, one of these things is not like the other. Where are we at? Nick said, government is only good at overcharging us for really bad healthcare. Right. We need private insurance to be good again. And yeah, and that's that's so much of the problem is the corporatocracy or the oligarchy or the crony capitalism, whatever you want to call it. It's not the mode of supply and demand driving the market. It's the fact that people are obfuscating that by backroom deals and all that stuff. Yeah, and it goes on to say, I used to have a Blue Cross PPO that cost me $3 to $4 a week and a $20 copay. God damn. Fatima said, I voted Hillary for the same reason. It's a beautiful way of seeing it. Don't vote against someone. Yeah, I will never, ever vote against somebody ever again. And I held true to that, even though I thought that Biden, was not good. I was like, I don't know enough to know that I'm sure. And collecting water still work. Yeah, but you could do it by yourself. And there's also ponds and puddles and oceans and stuff like that. And I think we're talking about other people's labor. Hey, we got the Plunge Cast. Welcome to the party. Good to see you. I said I moved here for family. Also, are you saying that everyone should source their own water or food, etc.? No. We were talking about what can be done. We were talking about a right. I didn't say that everybody should do anything. We were talking about what people can do. So let's not put words in my mouth. Are you saying that everyone should source their own food or water, etc.? In a modernized society, of course, these things require labor for mass distribution and production. Right. And so that which requires labor requires money. And so if we're, right, exactly. You're conflating society with individuals. We voluntarily work together to form a society as individuals. There's no group arguably, the government is not as voluntary as we would like it to be, but the way it's supposed to be is that the individual rights come before anybody else. And so your individual right and everybody's individual right not to be forced to do the labor of the healthcare that they don't want is why it's not a basic human right in the way that you're, at least in the American culture. All right, let's back in here. Project 2020
will pass a national abortion ban. The fact that he wants to implement Project 2025 and abolish the Department of Education. Let me finish.
That isn't true.
Thank you, Fatima. Very, very, very much appreciate it. You're making me blush. You're making me blush. Thank you.
He's not said he wants to pass a national abortion ban. So, see, when I hear Democrats do that, it reminds me of Trump's the new Hitler. It's like, why exaggerate?
He specifically said, I forget who was interviewing, but he specifically said, no, I will not do a nationwide abortion ban. He said those words. And now she's just here repeating bullshit. And it reminds me of my Never Trump days when I was first starting to get red pilled or, first just starting to see through the bullshit. I saw a lot of people. This was the Facebook days when not only were you on Facebook, but you were on Facebook with people you knew, and not everybody had the same political opinion. Then Trump came around, and everybody just blocked everybody they didn't like. But so, there was a lot of people who were anti-Trump, like myself at the time, and lying about him. And I'm like, guys, he's so bad. Why do we need to lie? Just tell the truth. Because then they can say, oh, we're lying. Oh, it's because the truth wasn't actually that bad and you had to lie. And here we are saying, now I'm on the other side saying, oh, you're lying.
Why go too far? He's never said he wants a national abortion
Pay attention to the news that's happening right now. The far-right takeover of the judicial system in this country is already...
The far-right takeover. The far-right takeover. The lifelong Democrat, Donald Trump, puts on less than... You can just spin these narratives, and it's so emotional. It's so emotionally based. The right wing, far right wing. No, he was the president. What do you mean? Guys, so the opinion here is that if someone doesn't have the means to provide for themselves with water or food, the state should let them die. You don't need, nobody needs to provide food or water. It's already there. It's already there. So if you are in the position where you can't get your own food and water from the store, then you could just go get water and food from the world. Now we still have things in place like food banks and such, but those are individuals forming a society. We don't want the government to be in control of everything. We want individuals to be in control of everything. That is the main difference between, what do you mean, no, you can't? No, you can't what? You can't go to a lake and just... Why can't you? Just like that. Very simple. It's like you have your hand like that and you do like a scooping motion and then the water will be in there and then you drink it up. It's pretty simple. Oh yeah, you're right. My bad. We need a dictatorship.
Now, the far-right takeover of the judicial system in this country is already underway. And just today, they allowed a president to have immunity, total immunity, which means the Jack Smith case.
Total immunity. Just total immunity. Can do no wrong. At no point. Total immunity. Semantic obfuscation. Shout out to Dingle Devada. Welcome to the party. Nick, so the pain management specialist I used to go to was put out of business by Obamacare. She explained how it worked. It would literally cost her to continue to treat her patients. It's just there's so many angles, and the assumption that we should just do this, whatever this is, right, left, or other. We should just do this. Then it's not that simple. Yeah, I mean, definitely a filter or, fire is also something that you can just make with nature. But yeah, you can just do that. Guy said, no, some people literally don't have access to these things. Bro, it rains. What do you mean? It rains. Go where it rains. If you don't have access to it, go to where it rains. And I'm not saying it too. You're giving this specific. You're jumping back and forth between specific examples and in general. Before you're saying everyone should source everyone should get a job so that they can buy the stuff that's very easily available in the store. But you said, can you? Where you said all these things are a natural right, and so the only argument that we're saying is no. If you can do it for yourself, it's a natural right. Harley said, I deal with the homeless around here a lot. Homeless is not simple to deal with. Exactly. I mean, okay, and that doesn't mean you can't do it. Pretty sure they're gonna, they'll drop that case. Like, I'm literally dying of thirst. They have hoses. Like, come on, let's not play stupid here. Carl said, communists won't last long in a societal breakdown, right? It's like, how do I get to, well, if there's no store, How do I live? Punchcast. So these people who've only ever lived in the privileged West have no clue about the daily lives of third world countries or developing countries. Yeah, like people still do this stuff. It's not like there's not a Walmart on every corner of every inch of the world. You can just do the stuff. I didn't say it was easy. I didn't say it's something you should aspire to. I said you can. And by virtue of the fact that you can means that it does not require somebody else's labor. That was the thing. It does not require somebody else's labor. So even if we're going to go with, oh, it's against the law, okay, we're not talking about that.
They allowed a president to have immunity, total immunity, which means the Jack Smith case.
Actually, it
against
wasn't
Donald
total
Trump
immunity. See,
doesn't go forward.
Francesca, look, with respect, again, you're massively exaggerating. The U.S.
Okay,
Supreme
well,
Court has ruled
go to Project 2025
well, let
and
me
tell me what
clarify
it
for
says,
viewers,
Piers.
right? You said they've given him total immunity. They haven't. The Supreme Court ruled that Donald Trump is partially immune from prosecution for actions taken while he was in the White House. They said that while the president's immune from criminal prosecution for official acts taken in office, he is not immune for unofficial acts. Big difference to total immunity.
Big difference. Big difference. What is Harley saying? There is a community, which is a big difference between people being homeless and living in a third world country. Yeah, Punchcast said, my family still gets water from a well in Fiji for farm animals. There you go. There you go. So yes, you can do this. Should you aspire to do it? No. But you have a basic right to the water that exists already. You have a basic right to the wood and stones and leaves and whatever that you would need to make a fire to boil that water to make sure that it's healthy to drink. These are basic rights. That's what we're talking about. Can you physically do it on your own? Shout out to the greatest gamer. Wow, the greatest gamer ever? That's impressive. They need to bring back victory gardens. What are victory gardens? I was gonna pull. I was gonna share the tab first, but I'm gonna victory garden. All right, Wikipedia we should be safe on Wikipedia. All right, what did it say? Victory garden. Victory gardens, also called war gardens or food gardens for defense, were vegetable, fruit, and herb gardens planted at private residences and public parks in the U.S., UK, Canada, Australia, and Germany during World Wars I and II. In wartime, governments encouraged people to plant gardens not only to supplement their rations but also to boost morale. They were used along with rationing stamps and cards to reduce pressure on the food supply. Besides indirectly aiding the war effort, these gardens were also considered a civil morale booster in that the gardeners can feel empowered by their contribution of labor and rewarded by the produce grown. This made victory gardens a daily part of life on the home front. Interesting. I'm down with that. I'm down with that. Funkmaster General says, Mr. Beast changed a lot of lives when he built wells in Africa. Prior to that, getting water was treacherous for those people. Agreed. But there's no law against it, right? That's what we're talking. That's what we were talking about. So like I feel like you guys are saying this as if I would disagree, but we're talking very specific point. And then you shift to a very different specific point. And then you're mixing the 2 points. And now I don't know what we're talking about. Harley, so my husband said my food tastes like white people food. I have failed. Sorry, honey. Guys, can you elaborate on your definition of a right for a second? Because I think that's where we differ. So a right would be something that is imbued with you by virtue of you being a person. So the right to life, you have the right to liberty, you have the right to self-defense, you have the right to be yourself. I think the right to you have a right to the so if I'm trying to distill it down, it would be just a right is something that a government entity can't take away from you. yeah, let's stick with that for the time being. A right is a behavior or state of being that a government couldn't take away from you. What is it? Let's get the Google definition. What is a right? In political science, rights are legal, social, or ethical principles that define what people are allowed or owned by a legal system, social convention, or ethical theory. So yeah, even there, we're not getting a super clear definition. But that's kind of what I refer to when I'm saying a right. You are imbued with this ability, and it's more about somebody else can't stop you from doing a thing. That's kind of what I use right. When I say you have a right, that's what I mean. Carl said, I would be okay with basic medical care in government clinics if they didn't always turn into a euthanasia clinic like MAID in Canada. That's the problem, right? The government ruins everything. Like, they have the resources to do things well, and they don't. They don't. Shout out to Sean Stevenson. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. It's an unpopular view, but I'm sure women should not be. I'm sure. Oh, okay. I thought you okay. Misread. But unpopular view, I'm sure. But women should not be able to be in politics. There are women in this country that can't go to war, but can vote for men to go to war. Okay, so I mean, I definitely, obviously, that is true that women can vote to send men to war, but why then wouldn't the solution then to say that women can get drafted as well, and then have physical tests for whether you're going to be on the front lines or not, whether you're going to be doing physical things? That is not really a political aspect as much as women just are not as big and strong as men. So Sean goes on to say, currently China is giving tons of free money and infrastructure to all sorts of African nations. Soon they will ally with China. We are dropping the ball. Fair, excuse me, fair enough. Shout out Funkmaster, currently sitting in a victory garden. There you go. Just pointing out a good deed done by a private citizen. Imagine that, a private citizen doing something on their own, fulfilling a need, because they are a part of that society that wants to improve it. Crazy. We've lost that value because we expect the government to do everything. Oh, that came out of nowhere. Sorry, Punchcast said, my son lives in a small town here in New Zealand, and they build a community garden for those who help build it. However, people who didn't contribute to it kept taking more than a single family needed. Well, that's what you need security for. But again, that's where the government comes in. That's the government. So if we had a private garden that was built for the community, that was people were paying for, but it was a very low price, then it could be for the community. But we'd have the money to then create or pay for the security, so that the people who need it actually get the food. Balance. So the point is, if you eat healthy, you won't need a doctor. I haven't been to a doctor in over 30 years. I don't eat that right. And the only time I've been to a doctor was last year when I was like, shit, I'm an adult. I haven't been to the doctor since I was a kid. So maybe I should go. And my blood work came back clean. So I don't know. I don't know. So Sean said God-given rights, not government-given rights. Right. Well, I mean, yeah, that's the idea, is that the government doesn't imbue the rights. I'm an atheist, so I would just say by virtue of being a person. But, same thing, that you already have the rights. They are imbued in you. That's what makes it a right, that you already have it. And the government can't give or take it because it's not theirs to give or take. So yeah, they had the garden, proving selfish people will take from those who provide for each other so they can get free goods for no work or contribution, which is why we need a private structure to make sure that the good people can get the good things and the bad people stay out. There will always be bad people, and just expecting everybody to be good just is not an option. Sean said, "This is why it should be much more serious when government and the members of the government violate our rights." I completely agree. Bandana Dan said, "I'm not too tech savvy, but I was unable to post a screenshot in the Discord. Is posting pics temporarily restricted?" So no, the stream. Welcome to the server, by the way. The free chat doesn't have pictures. But if you join as a member of the channel, well, actually, I don't know where that is here, but if we have it here, but if you join as a member here, then you get full access to the server, including the after party. And that is where after the Monday, Wednesday, Friday streams, you go in there and you are not stuck behind your keyboard. You're actually on screen with me and everybody else. You can cam up if you want to. You don't have to. But either way, that is what I was trying to do today, but everybody bailed on me. So, so it's youtube.com/TheIndianJesusOfficial/join. Such as just $2.99. We do members only streams here. And it's a good time. You should definitely come and join us. So Sean said, "Because women aren't developed for combat, and I've got a daughter, and I'll be damned if she's going to be drafted." Okay, so then what about and I mean, fair. I'm just trying to come up with a devil's advocate here, because I mean, that do you have sons? Or are you just saying that because you're a girl dad? Because that doesn't necessarily mean anything about, you know, how I think all parents think that their children don't want to be drafted. You know, I don't know how closely related that is. Carl said China does nothing for free. That's economic hitman. Also, the infrastructure is suspect. Just Google tofu dregs construction. What is it? Tofu dregs? Why is there poop on here? Hold on. I don't trust y'all. Let me see. What are we looking at here? I don't know. This isn't gonna be good for. I mean, you can provide. I mean, is this everywhere? Because you can find some pretty shoddy construction work right here in the U.S. But I believe it. Sean said, if even women were to be drafted into non-combat positions, it's still not fair for women to be able to vote when war. Life's not fair, bro. I hear you, but life's not fair. And like when we're getting to the stages of war, and we're in a war so deep that we need a draft, fair's out the window. What are we talking about at that point? Ruthless Admin said, rights are basically universal to all living creatures. The right to do your best to stay alive. Success is not a right or guaranteed. Right, but that's not defined. And so it is rather difficult to define exactly what do you mean by a right. And it could change depending on the context of what you're discussing. But, you know, the fact of the matter is that you know, those are, I don't even remember how we got on that. Punchcast said, China, if you look into it, African nations are turning away from them as more racism is shown by Chinese to Africans. South America is stopping buying military wares from the CCP. It breaks down. Yeah, makes sense. Guy said, if a right is something the state facilitates, it's not. We specifically said, who said specifically God-given rights, not, it's God-given rights, not government-given rights. I specifically said that it's not the government's rights to give you or take away. It is your right. It's already yours. Are you a person? Then it's yours. So nobody's facilitating that. It's automatic. If you are a person, you automatically have these rights. That's why. Balance of common law is God-given rights. Aren't we ruled by maritime law? I mean, it depends on where you are, right? All right, let's dive back in here then. All right. Where were we? All right, let's dive back in.
So the while the president's immune from criminal prosecution for official acts taken in office, he is not immune for unofficial acts. Big difference to total immunity. So
Sure,
again, why exaggerate?
There is nothing to exaggerate here. What I'm
You just
saying is,
did.
Okay, I'm glad he said it.
About abortion and immunity.
okay, so he's immune from stealing White House secrets after he leaves the office. Is that what you're saying? It's okay for him
You
to
mean
keep
like Joe
classified
Biden
documents?
did?
And now we're just playing. So what you're saying is. Shout out to Anne Marie over on X. Welcome to the party. Said a right equals life, liberty, and the freedom and pursuit of happiness. Great. Welcome. Sean, so you're correct that life is not fair, but Constitution is law and states that we are all created equal. And there's an amendment that says we have to have equal application of the law based on the Constitution. If women are given the right to vote and hold political office and vote for war, then it's unfair and unequal if they don't have to go to war. I know, but you just said you don't want it to be fair. I'm down with women getting drafted. You're the one who's saying, no, I don't want it to be fair. Because you want to have a special pleading for your daughter, which makes perfect sense. But you're the one who's making it not fair by saying no. Everybody else, but not mine. If you have sons, well, screw you. Your kids can go to war, but not mine. Not mine. Make it so only people who own land can go to war. I don't know. I think some of our best soldiers are people who are never ever going to own land. Guys, if somebody takes my property, the state facilitates my ability to exercise. Right, exactly. The state's facility to exercise what? Your right. They help you do what's already your right. No, I'm saying the opposite. The state absolutely should facilitate your rights. You're confused on the fact that the state is not the one giving you the right or taking the right. They are protecting you when they're protecting you from other people or the other aspects of the government impeding on that right. The government does not give rights. It is imbued naturally. By being a person, you are given these rights, or you have these rights. Hey, we got Kelly Green in the building. Welcome to the party. Good to see you. Sean, so what I'm saying is that no female should be going to war. It's not healthy for our culture or society and does not bode well for our strengths and effectiveness and our fertility rates. I agree. That's why not everything can be fair. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it what's best for society or what's fair, because those are not the same thing in every situation. And unfortunately, when it comes to warfare, it can either be equal or it can be fair. It can either be practical or it can be fair. You can't have both. So you get to pick, but which one you want more. But
after he leaves the office, is that what you're saying? It's okay for him
You
to
mean
keep
like Joe
classified
Biden did?
Yeah, Joe Biden, which when he was told, he was like, oh, here you go. Look, I'm not here to defend Joe Biden. You're trying to get on me. All I'm saying is
Sounds like
Donald
that.
Trump represents a far worse threat to the American people.
Which is what? A far worse threat. The threat that we face, in my eyes, from Biden is continuing World War III. So what is the threat that is greater than World War III? Kelly Greens, I've been drinking on the river all day, so I'm here, bro. Prepare. I am prepared. Give me your worst. Just don't get me banned.
And Joe Biden's a terrible messenger for his own damn campaign. He can't even articulate the fact that unemployment was at its lowest rate last year.
Yeah,
Since the year 1969.
I agree. He couldn't
the
articulate.
economy is actually doing quite well
Yeah,
under Joe Biden.
Of course.
But the guy can't put his mouth around.
Worst economy ever.
found the words.
And he had a
it sucked
perfectly
because-
good attack line on Trump about abortion if he could remember what it was supposed to be, but he couldn't.
Right.
Absolute humiliation. That right there's
Again, a shout out to Piers Morgan. You know, he's been doing the damn thing. Nick said, it's your right as a human who is an American citizen. Neither government or God gave them to us. And just like the government, God has to kill you to take your rights as a person. There you go. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the conversation. That is how we do it. That is how we do it. Sean said, it is the duty and job of men in society to defend the society. Again, I agree with you, but that's not fair. I agree with you, but it's not fair. Life is not fair. So saying something is not fair, therefore we shouldn't do it, is not a good reason not to do something, because it's not fair. Not everything is fair, and most things are going to have imbalance. So yes, I agree. It is the duty and job of men in society to defend that society. Therefore, it cannot be that women have the same thing. Therefore, we cannot have exact equality. Hey, shout out to Ayush Gupta. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Damn, it is getting late. Ayush said it as if they're, you know what? You know, what's tomorrow? Oh, it's Monday. Okay. Take my little dose. Help me sleep. Just a little bit. If you know, you know. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Valen said, hi, Kelly. My last name is Green, and I'm full on greeny. I mean, so am I. Sean says, I'm against going to war unless we are defending our nation and our people. And in that case, I'll gladly volunteer myself as a man. Fair enough. I'm definitely with you. I think you know, I'm pretty much an isolationist. I mean, I think there is probably a number of situations that you could present to me that I'd be like, oh, okay, I think that would be a good exception to you know, being isolationist. But in general, I'm good. Like, keep the borders and everything within our borders. A-okay. Other than that, let the world do whatever it's got to do. And you know, obviously we want to have good relationships, but this positioning of America being the world police, especially now when we don't have that capability anymore, it's not good for us. It's not good for us at all. Carl says Ukraine is our version of the economic hitmen. They bought that rump state with a lot of blood and treasure, and they're not about to give it up. I question if if even Trump can stop it. It's a good question. I mean, again, I don't know too much about the specifics of the Ukraine situation, but it doesn't. Yeah, it definitely. It was. God damn it, Biden! God damn it! Everything was fine. Everything was fine. At least for us, everything was fine. It wasn't perfect. It was fine. I said, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Women would be great in combat. Yeah, as cannon fodder. Got him. Sean said, it's a very dishonorable man that wishes to have a woman risk her life in combat. Yeah. Valen said, I would fight to save my country. You wouldn't even have to ask. And I wouldn't do you the disrespect of telling you, oh, you're just a little girl and you can't do it. So I appreciate that all of the women that are in uniform are probably stronger and braver. Not probably, are stronger and braver than I am. So I don't know. I mean, it's easy to say. Yeah, exactly. It's easy to say when we haven't actually been at risk since for the last 60, 70 years. So maybe, but it seems that what I'm saying is make things equal, take away women's rights to vote and hold political office, and then they don't get drafted. Yeah, but then men can make laws that affect how women live, and they don't get any recourse. How does that change it? That just makes it from this to this. Neither of those is fair or equal, but one of them is a lot more fair. No, again, that doesn't make everything equal, because then women don't have a say in how the day-to-day things run. I used it. Equality of representation is the insane thing to model a society by. This keeps showing up again and again in the conversation, but doesn't get any kind of rejection. Get the kind of rejection it truly deserves. I agree. Yeah, I mean the equality of representation, or what is the other term they use? Equality of outcome. Yeah, equality of outcome. Not ideal. So these are just what I believe. I understand that this will never happen, nor am I running for office to make it happen or protesting to make it happen. That says shit. Me neither. Guy said, someone smart once said that imperialism is the natural consequence of capitalism. But I have a feeling you won't agree with that. Seems logical to me, though. Imperialism is in the interest of capitalism. I mean, that's a whole conversation. I mean, that's not like a yes or no. That's a whole thing. Harley said, nah, kamikaze drone flyers. Fighting in person is overrated and outdated. Doesn't matter if the person controlling the robots has titties or not. Beast!
The gauntlet. This girl went through all the different Democrat talking points, one bogus narrative at a time, and Piers Morgan just swatted them out the air with total ease one after another. A swing of the mosquito slapper, or whatever you call those things, and boom, fake news narrative destroyed. Another swing, fake news BTFO'd. Another swing, fact check false. You are lying. And it's not like Piers Morgan possesses this unique ability to win arguments or something. It's simply because these left-wing talking points, these bogus narratives, well, they're fundamentally lazy. Again, Democrats can only exist in a facts vacuum, in an environment where facts don't exist. And of course, their rhetoric can only exist in an environment where it's either protected from or immune to scrutiny. I mean,
hey, we got our boy, the man of steel himself, Midmost Mark, in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. So as long as a woman can be factual and ethical in their behavior and policies, I have zero problem with women in politics. Women deserve to be represented in government, but most women tend to be followers. I think this is well said. This is really well said, because it definitely, again, as long as women can be factual and ethical in their behavior and policies, great. Because we know that men can also not be ethical or factual in their policies. Then you also bring in the fact that women deserve to be represented, but tend to be followers. And so that speaks exactly to the notion that instead of just taking the vote away from women, that we need to be able to articulate what it is that we want in a way that women in general can be interested and grab onto. And feel the need to, not necessarily be leaders, but to follow the right people and the right reasons. Yeah, shout out to Liberal Hive Mind. I am a big fan. Big fan. Carl said, so child soldiers are back, right? They will just wire up these video game junkie kids killing drones and off to the races. I've heard worse ideas. That's all I'm going to say. I've heard worse ideas. Sean said, do you think that females can influence men even if they don't have an actual physical vote? Yes, but they don't have a vote. That's a non-starter, bro. To say that that's equal, that is a non-starter. That is not equal. Oh, well, you don't get a vote, but you can try to convince a man to vote the way that you want. That is not equality.
Only exist in an environment where it's either protected from or immune to scrutiny. I mean, most of the time, they're just straight up lying. They just get away with it because actors in the mainstream media simply won't push back. I mean, just imagine a world where journalists dealt with Democrats in the way that Piers Morgan just did there. It would be completely game over. I mean, we're already seeing a little bit of an element of it as the left-wing mainstream media apparatus is in full freakout.
Sean, this is the feminist analog to, well, men have been in power forever. How many men? How many women are we talking about here, Sean? The average woman in most countries in history can just influence society? Come on, bro. You're talking about what? Cleopatra? Some other chick I haven't heard of? That's not a thing.
Mode. We're already seeing a little bit of an element of it as the left-wing mainstream media apparatus is in full freakout mode due to Joe Biden's collapse. All of a sudden, they're asking very pertinent questions.
I'm going to ask something delicate, and you may not like it. The president may not like to hear it if he's watching, but I think the American people need to get a yes or no answer on this. Does President Biden, at 81 years old, have Alzheimer's, any form of dementia or degenerative illness that cause these sorts.
I thought somebody was laughing. I thought he was, yeah, of course he does. Of course he does. Guy said, what's your opinion on workers' rights? Maternity leave, sick pay, weekend, working day. These aren't God-given rights, but I still believe in them. So this is a different realm of right. And so the worker, like a worker's right, would be that's a, I don't know how to articulate this. Like we're not like the basic human rights. The fact that you're saying workers' rights, like that's a different conversation. And so I mean, we could get into that conversation about how what should we say workers are or are not allowed to do. I'm more libertarian, and I think that maternity leave, sick pay, weekend, the 8-hour workday, all those things. I think those are good things. But I also think that if you're a company that wants to just fucking go balls to the wall and we fucking work through the weekends and we only take 1 day off a year, and somebody wants to work for you, who is the government to say no? You should have the freedom not to work under those conditions if you don't want to. But I don't think that we necessarily need the government to mandate maternity leave, sick pay, the weekend, the work day. I mean, people are working 10-12-hour days anyway, so it's not like the 8-hour work day is a real thing that is enforced by the government. And I'm in favor of that. That's good. Sean said, I personally think we should intentionally outlaw drones, AI weapons, and anything else automated without a human being directly inside of it. I think unmanned weapons in this manner, like the drones we're seeing in Ukraine, should be a war crime, like using chemical agents or nuclear weapons. If we make unmanned weapons, it is only a matter of time before somebody either hacks and takes control of that weapon, or our AI is smart enough to use it against us. Maybe. I said workers' rights are human rights. They're under the umbrella of human. Well, that's why I said basic human rights. We have the basic human rights of the right to survival, and the fact that you're asking a separate question is demonstrating the difference that I'm trying to articulate. I know I'm not doing a good job at it, but that's in a different realm of discussion, and so that it's a good conversation, one that needs to be had, and an interesting one. But it's a different conversation than what is a God-given right. Those are different conversations. Well, I mean, that'd be too much for you, so then don't work there. Do we need basic parameters from the government? I don't know that that's right. Thank you. Holy shit, I thought I was going insane. All right, at least somebody's out here. Okay, thank you. Carlos said, I think Sean is right about women's rights. I also agree that it is ground we will probably never get back. We need more practical solutions. All right, fair enough. I mean, I'll take it. Binmo said, this brings about discussions of women's suffrage movements and translates to what women want versus the lengths they're willing to undertake. Women didn't originally want a lot of these rights. A lot were fighting for due to equality. Yeah, that's right. That is very right. But that's long gone. And now it's just gimme, hashtag feminism, hashtag girl boss. Guys said, but a lot of people don't have the freedom to not work under the business practices you describe if they were allowed. There aren't infinite jobs. You need a job to survive, and people are coerced. And I agree, but this is again a top-down issue from the crony capitalism. If we had a more libertarian market, then this wouldn't be an issue because there would be jobs. The fact that you can have so much power to create jobs that you don't need and hire somebody for 2 weeks and fire them after this. The laws were then constructed in a way to help this occur. This is not the natural conclusion of a free market society. Yeah, I'm with you. Kelly said the drone banning and all that ain't gonna happen. We're gonna have to deal with it while that exists. Agree. Oh yeah, there were way more anti-suffragettes than pro. Indeed. Venmo said we don't see women in various fields because their mental state as well as physiology doesn't always align with the vocation. I like the way you phrase that. Yeah, and this is what I'm having a hard time articulating this because it's different things. They're both rights. They're both the rights of a human, but your basic human rights and your workers' rights are they're different things. It's an entirely different conversation. Okay, bro. Facts. Feminism definitely is men's fault. You are right about that. Balance said, I was against the suffragettes, but my friends were all for it. I was defriended by many women back in the 70s. I'm sure it was a very contentious time for women, and yeah, I can't imagine that being easy. You know, the Trump division has to be pretty similar, no? All right, let's dive back in here.
That 80 American people need to get a yes or no answer on this. Does President Biden, at 81 years old, have Alzheimer's, any form of dementia, or degenerative illness that would cause these sorts of lapses? And it's a yes or no question. And if you don't know, why don't you, as one of his senior staff members, know?
I have an answer for you. Are you ready for it?
Yes.
It's a no. And I hope you're asking the other guy the same exact question.
Imagine.
I hope you're asking the other guy. I don't even want to say his name. I hope you're asking him, the guy who's totally with it, on top of it, and quick-witted. I hope you're asking him if he has dementia. What? Balance said, I wanted to change laws regarding women, like stop jailing them for being promiscuous and causing RPay. Yeah, those are valuable things to fight for, but unfortunately, you know women, right? I mean, they'll just go too damn far.
Imagine if the press was asking that exact question, worded in that exact way. Does the president of the United States have dementia? Imagine if they were asking that question back in 2020. Obviously, the outcome would have been different. This is exactly why we're always seeing these Democrat tantrums. Post-CNN debate, the Blue Anon shills were throwing a huge tantrum on Twitter, attacking CNN, claiming they sabotaged the event for Joe Biden, even though
they sabotaged the event, even though it was tailor-made for him. Insane. So yeah, Ruthless Island said the worker has the right to negotiate with employers. Nothing more, nothing less. The system we live in is infringing that to the extremes. Very well said. Very well said. Exactly. The more government intervention you get, the more imbalance you have on the side of the workers. Inevitably. Government should only regulate business to the degree that they do not bring harm to people, which is zero. Any government intervention, in my personal opinion, is harm. Venmo Smark said, considering Trump has mentioned numerous times that he's had multiple cognitive tests. Yeah, right? Come on, man. Like, well, but see, that doesn't matter for her because by just her saying that, now if they show this on CNN, which they wouldn't, even though, she did get that little, would you call it a jab? I don't know, whatever. But if they were to show it on CNN, then while they're seeing, okay, well, they're questioning Biden, oh, we got to question the other guy too. Well, they're both in their 80s. That's why she's saying. Sean said, people can choose what they want to work, and the government should just stop taking our money. The U.S. government could survive on tariffs alone. I'm with you there. Venmo Smart said, of all Biden's blunders in the news were deep fakes. What did she say? She said cheap fakes. They were cheap fakes. Then why was he coincidentally having a bad night at the debate? Oh, well, didn't you hear? He had a cold. And that's why our strong and powerful leader. You just had a cold. That's all. Don't you lose the ability to think and speak when you have a cold? Yeah, exactly. Smart man. Smart man. She's shooting hate out of the eyes. Peter always makes her do that. Shout out to Peter Ducey. There we go. Harley said any government intervention is no longer a free market. That's why we do not have a free market economy. It is not free from the government. Steven says the government's only job should be to defend our rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Basically, defending us from and prevent people from bringing harm to us. Yep. Great. All right, let's finish this up here.
Oh, they tried doing everything to make it as easy as possible for him, and Joe Biden spent 9 days in a boot camp preparing. They were freaking out, blaming the whole thing on the network and, of course, the debate moderators. What was it that they kept saying? The moderators didn't intervene enough. They didn't fact-check Trump enough. A full-blown tantrum at the idea that the moderators would essentially act fairly and back off and let the two candidates go back and forth and debate the ideas. Essentially, they did their job, but to the left, that was the greatest betrayal. Again, they can't exist unless the media is helping them, unless CNN's giving them the questions in advance, which they might have actually done. Here's a little Freudian slip from CNN.
He goes through 6 days of preparation at Camp David.
More than that.
And they know the
It
rules.
was more than a week.
Okay, and so more than a week. They know the rules. He practices with the mics. He knows every one of these questions is coming. And yet he couldn't fill the time. Now
They can't succeed unless they're getting the questions, unless they get to set all the rules and regulations and parameters of the debate. And of course, they need the moderators to group up and gang up on Trump. Anything else is utter betrayal to our democracy or something.
Tell us how you really feel, Kelly Green. Tell us how you really feel. I think a lot of us feel that. I think a lot of us feel this way. Indeed. Are weak and frail and abysmal leader because of which I harbored secondhand embarrassment in being a citizen of this country. Even Biden voters feel secondhand embarrassment. John said, if a businessman harms somebody because of bad business practices or poor safety, then the government should step in because people are at risk of harm. I mean, accidents happen. Bad business practices happen. If you are working somewhere and things aren't safe, then that is again in a free market. Then you'd be able to go there somewhere that has better conditions. And if you're somebody who can't afford that, then you work in shitty conditions. And I don't know. I mean, that's again, we're coming back to the notion that there's an answer to make everybody happy and everything fine. Like there's always going to be poorer people and richer people. There's always going to be people doing better than other people. And I don't know that is a sign that anybody is doing anything wrong. I think that's just nature, that some people do better and some people do worse. Balance it. I've floors to sand. I better go. It's 1 p.m. Thanks for the company. Enjoyed it. Thank you for being here. Yeah, it is getting late. I did not expect to be on here for 3 hours. But we'll end on this from Harley Rose. Said, no, the government should not step in because of bad business. If we had a free market, guess what? People would stop supporting that business and sue them for the harm caused. Exactly. Very, very well said. The free market will solve everything. Thank you so much for hanging out, guys. I really, really do appreciate it. Big shout out to the sponsor of the stream, out sponsoring himself with $15 in super chats, the Funk Master General. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very, very, very much. I really, really do appreciate it. Guys, make sure you have hit that like button. If you have not already, you just need to long press the screen or the 3 dots right up in the corner and subscribe, guys. I am live. I'm trying to do 6 days a week, but definitely every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, down in the studio with the full setup. I had some stuff, and I gotta fix Discord and whatever. But it is a lot of fun. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really, really do appreciate it. Once again, I have been your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, I am out of here. Peace.